Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet, the most famous man on the planet, the most Googled man in the world, the most important, most powerful man in human history.
Top AP.
Top P, top AP, top something. How is everybody doing? Good. Thank you. Good. David, how are you doing?
Yo. I'll be typing for just a second as I share the link
For
to
justice.
where we're at.
Okay. Topping for justice. So today we were going to watch through the video in which the great scholar of Middle Eastern geopolitics and great historian of the Israel-Palestine conflict, Andrew Tate, will tell us his thoughts on the Israel-Palestine conflict and the Israel-Hamas war. Have you seen the video, David?
Yeah, I watched most of it, but just as you're saying it, why the heck would really at the end of the day, why does anyone care what Andrew it reminds me of when people ask me a question like, David, what do you think about this? And I'm thinking, why would you ask me? What possible basis would you think I have any clue what I'm talking about on that subject? Like, why are you asking me? And here you got Andrew Tate. Oh, Andrew Tate. Sex trafficker and pimp and webcam porn guru. Tell us what you think about the Israeli-Hamas war, because we really need your deep insights. It's just weird. It's just weird to me, right? It's how many times does this come up where someone has got some sort of clout in one area or some area of expertise or something like that, or something that person is good at or known for, and therefore people want to hear what that person says about things that are completely unrelated to anything he actually has any clue about. Anyway,
it is pretty wild. Yeah,
it's pretty good.
I saw like he has an interview with Piers Morgan interviews Andrew Tate, and I thought, oh god, here we go again with the nonsense. And then he puts out a video which says Andrew Tate on the Israel-Palestine conflict, and I'm thinking, what do we want to have Andrew Tate's insights about the Israel-Palestine conflict?
How about no?
Yeah. So it's very strange, but nevertheless, it happened. And since we have been talking, I feel like Piers Morgan is just milking the case right now and just addressing it with everyone, even with this charged human trafficker and alleged rapist.
Yeah, especially anyone who's really popular. By the way, Pierce is absolutely killing it, right? He saw an opportunity to get a ton of new people watching his channel, and he is absolutely crushing it with that regard. But yeah, it's like, seriously, Andrew Tate? I mean, I at least understood Muhammad Hijab, even though it's all, hey, lube, what about the lube? You've got a vibrator in your pocket, even though it's like the most ridiculous nonsense. I mean, it's weird. I mean, Andrew Tate, as far as like actually, at least sticking to the general idea was actually better than hijab. But it's just weird. It's like what's next? Andrew Tate, could you respond and give us your view on quantum electrothermodynamics? I don't know if that's actually a thing, but why would anyone what possible basis could anyone have for caring what this guy says about anything? Anyway.
It is wild. It is wild. We'll see. We'll check it out. We'll see what kind of amazing things he says. I'm pretty sure there will be lots of deep knowledge. It already looks very, very promising with this guy sitting in here and wearing his sunglasses at night indoors. It is not the eyes that are blind. Something like that. Whatever they say.
He's covering it. I'm waiting for the chats. His sunglasses are covering up the leather strap of the anus.
Gosh. All right, mate. Let's see. So let's see how it's done. This is part 2 of this long interview that Piers Morgan had with him, where the first part is just about him and how the situation is going, and this part is about the Israel-Palestine conflict. I haven't watched it. I haven't watched a single minute of it.
You haven't seen any of it?
Nope. So I'm going into it completely blind and cold.
Spoiler, the first half of it is Pierce going, "Do you condemn Hamas? Do you condemn Hamas? Why
You condemn.
will you condemn the Hamas? Will you condemn
How
it?
about
Why won't
no?"
you condemn it?"
Yeah. Let's see.
I want to turn to the war
That is Tate's response.
between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. What is your view of this war?
I think when you call it a war, you're doing a disservice to the people who are having their limbs blown off by some of the most.
It is an actual war, so I don't know what you're talking about already. One side is getting crushed, therefore it's not a war. Okay.
Advanced technical weaponry on the planet. It is a genocide and it is disgusting. And it doesn't matter which side of the political spectrum you fall on. When you observe a genocide in front of your very eyes, you should be disgusted.
Which side is waging genocide?
The Israelis are genociding the Palestinians, and you know it as well as everybody
I don't
else
know
does.
that.
Well, then it seems like your bosses are not allowing you to know it.
What do you
perhaps.
think?
Always a conspiracy.
This
Always
is-
a conspiracy.
It's idiotic. I mean, the first thing he starts coming out swinging with, it's genocide.
Yeah.
Guys, what do these guys think a genocide is? They're about to get into it, but I mean, the level of stupidity in notice, you can object to the idea of bombing a building to get a terrorist who's in the building, right? You could say, hey, we understand why you want that terrorist, but there are a bunch of civilians in there and you're blowing up the building with the civilians in order to get the terrorists. You can actually make a case for saying why you shouldn't do that, and then you could have that discussion. But it's not genocide, blowing up a building to get to a terrorist when that terrorist is deliberately hiding in that building because there are civilians in it, and warning the people ahead of time to get out of the building. That's not anyone's definition of genocide except these guys right now, and only when it applies to Israel.
No, you're just denying it because your bosses are not allowing you to speak the truth. It's the Jews.
Hold up. Hello, Mossad? Was that okay? All right, good. I'll keep doing that. All right.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
I usually talk to them after the show, but
Yeah, as long as they keep shoveling the shekels, the super
Yeah.
shekels to my boy AP.
yeah,
I'll
shekels
keep
becoming
saying what they want.
shekels come in. So yeah, this guy doesn't know what genocide is. He doesn't know how genocide is defined. He doesn't know what a genocide is. He doesn't know what is going on right now. Where one side has explicitly called for and promised a genocide, the other side has not. And guess what? The one side that did call for it is not Israel. It is Hamas. But let's continue.
Of what Hamas did on October the 7th?
Why are you starting the story in the middle?
I
Pierce?
didn't. I just asked you about the wider war. I'm now
I
asking
can't
you specifically
professionally.
about
I
Hamas.
cannot professionally answer that question without talking about the context that led up to October 7th.
Well, nothing to my mind.
Professionally answer that question.
Nothing justifies what happened before.
What in the world does it even mean? Like, why is there a professional response from you on that thing? You're just supposed to give your personal opinion on this stuff. You're not a professional here.
If I recall correctly, Pierce eventually asks him, "What are you talking about professionally?" Answer. What are you talking about? He says it later.
Gosh, this is
October the 7th, Pierce. This is the exact point. So you're talking to a man. I don't know what answer you expect from me, because let's forget the fact that I'm a Muslim. You're talking to a man who is fighting oppression to the best of his ability because he believes that
shut up.
Fighting oppression to the best of my ability.
Where is he fighting oppression? Give me an example. Where is he fighting oppression exactly?
People are oppressing his ability to pimp hoes.
Yes.
People oppress pimps, man. What's going on?
This is basically what he's fighting here. He's being oppressed, as in he's prevented from human trafficking, from running a sex trafficking business, and he thinks that is oppression because the authorities will not allow him to continue his human trafficking business, which he bragged about for years. He now thinks he's being oppressed. That is apparently fighting oppression. You're not fighting oppression. You are the oppressor. You're not fighting oppression. You are the one who sides with oppressors. You are the one who brags about oppressing. You are the one who loves oppression. I think your existence is an oppression of humanity, Andrew Tate.
To Pierce's credit, he's going to call. Spoiler alert! He's going to call out Andrew Tate on this.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah. Let's see.
The people in charge of the world are enslaving us all to the point where I detriment my own life. I end up in a jail cell because I'm speaking against oppression. Then you're asking me what I would do if my family...
Look at his face. Oh, man, there's your thumbnail right there. Snapshot that, man. Fix that later.
Have to capture that. Yeah,
you need it. Who's not going to click on that?
I got it. I caught it. Let's see. I'll have this to the side here and save it on my desktop. Okay, good. Got it. He went to jail because of human trafficking and rape and organized crime, not for speaking out against oppression.
Family was
You're not in a jail. Pieces. You're not in a jail. Hang on.
You asking me what I would do if another government came along and blew my family to pieces?
You weren't put in a jail cell because of any oppression.
Absolutely, I was.
You were put in jail cell because you've been accused of serious sexual crimes.
I would not have been accused if I was not monumentally successful in speaking the truth.
Let me ask you again. It's a simple question. Some people can answer it straight away, including pro-Palestinians people I've had on my program. Many are very quick to say absolutely. Do you believe Hamas are a terror organization?
And that's a very interesting question, but I think you're peddling asininities.
Well, just answer the question.
You're peddling asininity.
Did he just learn that word? That's why he's telling others to Google it now?
Yeah. Hey, Tate was like, hey, hijab, I know you have a thesaurus. What cool word could I use? Whatever Pierce Morgan says something I disagree with. Asininity? Okay. I don't know what that means, but I'll use it.
And find out if it's
I know what it means.
If it's not, make sure it's added to Webster on Top G's orders.
Okay. Just
it's added to Webster on Top G's orders.
Asininities.
Well, just answer the question.
Could somebody do me a favor? Google asininities and find out if it's
I know what it means.
If it's not, make sure it's added to Webster.
Okay.
He thought he was looking up the meaning for Pierce thought he was looking up the meaning. No, Tate was looking it up to see if it's an actual word.
Here, I Googled it for you. I did it here.
I would predict it's an actual word. Yeah.
Here, top
it's
G.
a noun form.
I did it top G. Asininity as an insanity, madness. Doesn't it also mean like stupidity and something?
Yeah, that's what it should. Go up.
Okay, yeah, here, stupidity.
Yeah, a serious journalist. Yeah.
A foolish act or idea. A serious journalist who refuses to take part in the asininity of reporting celebrity gossip as real news. I don't know why he's pretending like he's never heard the word before. He clearly just learned it, and he's acting like he's a genius now, and he's inventing words. How cringeworthy! Just because he can't answer the question, right?
Are they a terror group?
You're peddling asininities because I'll tell you why, Pierce. Let me answer the question.
No, I'm not.
Of course you are.
It's a simple question.
That's like me asking.
I'll tell you why I asked. Because the UK, where you were born, prescribes Hamas as a terror
They
organization.
also prescribe me as dangerous to children in schools.
You are.
Hey, you're peddling an asininity. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. It reminds me of that Monty Python, you pay to have an argument skit. He walks in and says, I'm here to have an argument. No, you're not. Yes, I am. No, you're not. Yes, I am. No, you're not. And it's just this ridiculous thing, but that's how they like. I feel like the actual content of what's discussed here could be put in like 5 minutes, and it's 35 minutes.
Yeah. So I just want to bring this up since he says he was put in jail because he speaks for truth and against oppression. Here is the official indictment, which is approved by the court that is keeping him currently still under awaiting trial, actually. They issued this indictment upon submission by the prosecution, where they say he's charged with 3 different charges: forming an organized criminal group, human trafficking in continued form or multiple counts, and rape in continued form on multiple counts. So this is why he was actually put in jail, and this is why he's still expecting trial, not because he speaks against oppression. This guy is a sex trafficking pimp who bragged about that forever, and now he's getting it. And he says, it's because I speak against oppression. It's because I'm successful. Shut up, man.
Explain something to you, Pierce.
You're not prescribed as that.
If I were to sit here and say, is stealing wrong? And you'd say yes, and I go, but what if the person stealing is trying to feed their family, and if they don't, their family are going to die? Is it still wrong? You're trying to take a very nuanced and complicated argument and reduce it down to one sentence, which is failure.
That's not at all true. The question is very simple. Is Hamas a terrorist organization? Yes or no?
trying to equate stealing with a mob of terrorists breaking over a border, going to peaceful...
Is that what Israel did?
Wait a minute.
A mob of terrorists breaking over a border
Let me finish.
and killing people. Is that what Israel did?
Going through a border on October the 7th.
Oh, October the 7th.
Massacring young people at a festival, massacring families in their homes in a kibbutz, setting fire to them, cutting their heads off, killing babies.
Oh, killing 40 babies. That was true.
Well, fine.
Were the babies vaccinated?
Why are you being flippant?
What the? What's wrong with this guy, man?
Why are you stuttering? Were the babies vaccinated? Why are you stuttering?
Yeah.
I'm not being flippant. The point I am
I
making...
don't find that funny.
No, but the point I am making is that the media lies, firstly.
No.
Secondly...
I can ask you about different things at the same time, right?
Sure.
So I'm asking you, first of all, specifically.
So he said the media lies. That is entirely irrelevant unless we don't know for a fact if Hamas did indeed break in and massacre civilians or not. We do know that Hamas did actually do that. We have abundant evidence by now. We know for a fact, it is undeniable that Hamas broke in and targeted civilians and brutally murdered them, brutally killed them in different ways. Women, men, children, different kinds of people. This is a fact. You don't have to trust the media on this.
Yeah, it is a... And notice Andrew Tate is the champion of explaining away anything he doesn't want people to believe by saying it's part of a conspiracy. I mean, this is like the Matrix guy, right? So once your followers are attributing everything they don't like or that they don't agree with to a conspiracy, becomes incredibly difficult to prove anything to them, right? Like, how do you prove? You could have 1,000 news agencies posting video after video recorded by Hamas themselves. You can say it's all made up. It's all part of a conspiracy. Weird stuff.
Yeah. White Trash Panel's Head was watching AP's review of Muslim conversion stories earlier today. Watching AP's brain melt over their idiotic reasoning for converting is hilarious. I should continue that at some point. Maybe we should do that together, actually.
We should go through every single one. Every time a new one is posted, we should go live and examine their stuff.
Yeah, we should.
Every one, all day, any day, daring people to post why they converted to Islam.
Yeah. They don't post it. There are not many posts. We have to wait long time sometimes.
We should have people notify us. Say, hey, anytime someone posts, here's why I converted to Islam. I found out about the scientific miracles. We can just respond to it.
Nowadays, people just say very, very strange things like, after October 7th happened, I started wondering what exactly makes these people so inspired. So I picked up a Quran and then I converted. Okay.
As I was running down the street, yelling, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, because it's a cool thing to do, I really noticed that this girl looked really cool in her hijab, and I want to be like that. So I converted to Islam, alhamdulillah.
Well, specifically, what is your reaction to what happened on October the 7th?
Sure, I'll answer the question professionally. I do not condone the loss of human life on either side. I think anybody doing anything which directly damages civilians is disgusting and abhorrent. However, I would be an ass if I could not sit and pretend I do not understand the motivations behind either side. This is not even me taking a side. I understand why Israel is doing what it's doing. I understand why Palestine is doing what it is doing. However, I still call the Israeli actions absolutely abhorrent and genocidal.
Okay, we're going to come to Israel's action.
Why can he just not answer the question? Is it because of his new allegiances and his Muslim fan base? I don't know.
Yeah, it's what's weird here is, like, I actually agree with this part of what Andrew's saying, and that you can actually understand why each side is doing. If you're Israel, you're surrounded by a bunch of people who want to exterminate you, and you've got guys, an actual terrorist organization right on the other side of that fence that wants to completely exterminate you, that has pretty widespread support in those territories. And then you've got people around the world who will instantly start rallying on behalf of this terrorist group. That sounds insane. It's almost like, hey, we feel like we're on our own. We're just going to have to crush these guys and be brutal. I can understand that. At the same time, if I were part of a territory that is kind of completely dominated by a more powerful group, and I'm surrounded by these guys who want to go over there and keep starting fights with these guys, right? In other words, I'm here. There's a bunch of these jihadis around me, and they want to keep going and doing stuff and killing people, knowing that there's a big strike coming in response. And so these guys will go, they'll kill a bunch of people, and then they run and hide in tunnels. Meanwhile, I'm getting blown to bits. Yeah, I'd be pretty ticked off too. Not just at them. I mean, I understand. I understand getting ticked off of the guys who are dropping bombs on you and so on. So yeah, you can understand every, why people on either side are pretty ticked off at the way things are going and how they react. So yeah, Tate's right. It's just he's not helping much when he's like, well, what's Hamas trying to do? Well, we know what Hamas is trying to do. It's like the definition of what a terrorist group is.
Man.
Won't
Wait
say
a minute.
What?
Are you aware of the elections in Netherlands?
Oh,
Jeez.
I saw Geert Wilders' party was doing well earlier. I don't know if it stayed that way. I saw they were cheering on Twitter.
Wow. This is what a shift, man. I mean, this is being updated on Wikipedia.
Breaking news, everyone. Breaking news. We interrupt this live stream with a special Apostate Prophet news bulletin.
Geert Wilders' Freedom Party is projected to have the highest number of seats in the
Look at all those parties.
Dutch Parliament. 67% counted, but the exit polls show that they are far ahead. I'm not entirely sure what to think about this. This is just wild because it's an extremely sharp shift toward the right in the Netherlands. And wow. I was just going to post something the other day about Germany, how in Germany politics are changing very, very dramatically. There is a very sharp shift toward the right.
Mhm.
And throughout Europe, the same thing is happening because people are reacting to the immigration issues, to the whole Israel-Palestine conflict and the protests that erupted, to so many things, to the elitism and the smug attitude of the political parties that ignored people's frustrations for so long, and they are turning more and more right. There is an overcorrection that is coming, and it will not be pretty.
You were just talking about that last night, and it's pretty obvious. It's been pretty obvious for years that people aren't going to put up with this forever.
Yeah.
It's easy when it's all hypothetical and we're saying, hey, do you know what Islam's going to do as the numbers continue to rise? No, you're a bigot. No, you're a racist. Only racists think that's going to happen. And then it actually happens over and over and over again. People start catching on.
Yeah. That is wild, man. It's wild, man. All right.
I promise you, we will ask that question specifically. But in terms of what Hamas did on October the 7th, do you accept that was an act of terrorism?
It's an interesting question because
It's not really.
It is.
It's a very straightforward question.
He said it's an interesting question again.
Because you're the person who would have called Nelson Mandela a terrorist while he was still in jail, and one person's terrorist is another person's freedom fighter.
I wouldn't
For
have
me to
called him
answer the question, yes, you would have. For me to answer the question, I have to be very professional, Pierce. For me to sit on the outside in Romania with no personal involvement in Israel-Palestine, it's easy for me to say, yes, it was an act of terror. However, if I was in Gaza, if I was in an open-air prison, if my family had been annihilated by bombs from the sky, if everybody I knew had suffered the loss of a loved one, if I had no chance of any kind of freedom or democracy or standard of life, would I believe it was an act of terror, or would I believe it's an act of resistance against oppression? You have to be very careful how you answer these questions.
So what do you think?
I think I understand what happens when you take people.
Just answer that question, man. Oh.
No, again, this goes on like half the interview. But one, I mean, think about this, because you've actually gone through some footage and pictures of Gaza. Did not look like the nightmarish hellscape that
not at all.
Andrew Tate is describing it as. You can look at pictures now after bombings and so on and show piles of rubble and so on, but I don't know, apart from things that happen when these guys launch terrorist attacks, doesn't look all that terrible. I mean, just it's like crowded. That's about it.
Yeah. I want to bring up something very quickly to get back very briefly to that whole thing we were talking about, the whole political shift.
Breaking news, everyone.
No, this is not the news. This is just an analysis. This is about Germany, national parliament voting intention. There is this party, which you can see here, which is blue, called the AfD, Alternative for Germany, Alternative für Deutschland. And that party was only created at the beginning of in the early 2010s and started with 3%. It's got higher and higher and higher. Right now it's at 21%. Challenging the leading conservative party and surpassing the Social Democrat Party, going for leadership in Germany. And the party is described as far right, as a right-wing populist, anti-immigration, Eurosceptic, and so on. And this is happening because people are sick of being ignored. People are sick of this whole let's just welcome everybody and let's not care about what people say and so on, which is why parties like this suddenly started skyrocketing. This is surging right now. If they take over, this will be the most right-wing that Germany has been since the Second World War. People are stupid. People are stupid. They think, oh, let's just ignore what these people say. Let's just call them idiots. Let's just call them Nazis, and let's just continue what we're doing. That's not how it goes.
Yeah,
there will be a backlash. There will be a correction.
Yeah, and right now that we're right in the middle of Muslims panicking about the avalanche of apostasy and doing everything they can because they're in a panic mode, and the only thing lots of them understand how to do, I mean, talking about the Dawa guys and so on, is to flex and to scream at everyone and to try and insult everyone into agreeing with you and going after people's mothers and wives and kids and so on. Yeah, I think the reaction is going to get pretty big pretty quickly when people are looking around seeing this stuff.
Yep. I just hope it will be balanced and healthy, which I doubt.
Put them in such an inhumane condition. For anybody to sit and say that you're going to take people and put them in absolutely inhumane conditions and give them no standard of life, and they're not allowed to ever fight back, or they are terrorists.
But I can agree with you.
Anyone who does that is an amateur.
By the way, very popular narrative here, but according to the Human Development Index, Gaza and Palestinian territories rank around the middle, medium Human Development Index, quality of life. Lots of actually Gaza, in terms of quality of life, is quite average compared to other Arab countries, surrounding Arab countries. Life there is quite okay. There is no big issue. There are half the world's countries are worse off than Gaza. So it's not like it is an unbearable, unbelievable hell where you can't exist. You can't possibly exist. You have to fight. You have to get out and rape. No, that's not the issue. That's not the reality. The reality is that it's an average, normal place. And it has been unoccupied since 2005, but Hamas took over. And instead of working toward development and peace, Hamas said, we denounce every peace process. We will never recognize Israel, and we will never disavow terrorism. Upon which Israel said, okay, well, then we will just put a blockade around you because we will not allow you to prosper under these circumstances. Which is why Gaza is blocked off from the rest of the world, but still receives massive funding, massive resources, massive help from the outside world. Half the population is unemployed, but people are living quite well. They don't have to work because they get everything delivered from the outside, and so on. So Gaza is not a hellish place at all. It is quite an okay place under the circumstances, and the only restrictions that are there are not Israel's choice. They are the choice of Hamas.
Wow, AP, you're making Gaza sound pretty good.
It is pretty good. It's amazing.
We might want to move there.
I know. You don't have to work, and you just get everything delivered. Like, fantastic.
There was that episode of The Office where they all made prison sound like it's an awesome place.
Yeah.
And Michael got enraged and did his prison Mike skit.
Yeah.
I can agree with you that the plight of the Palestinians for many decades has been absolutely shameful.
So what did we think was going to happen, Pierce?
No, nothing justifies what happened on October the 7th.
So what are they supposed to do?
Nothing.
So what are they supposed to do?
That was an act of medieval barbaric terrorism. Nothing justifies it.
Did they suffer acts of medieval? Did they suffer acts of medieval barbaric terrorism before that date? Yes.
What?
Nope.
Yeah, here's notice. I mean, he keeps saying, what should they have done? And he's talking about a defense of the October 7th attacks. He's saying, what should they have done? What should they have done when they've been subjected to all this stuff? It's like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? I mean, has he been paying attention to anything? Muslim nations are about to normalize relations with Israel. They could have very easily said, "Hey, we're getting along now, so why don't you let us help you out with the situation in Gaza and so on." I mean, if they just went a certain amount of time without launching terrorist attacks, they'd have gotten more and more and more freedom until they're their totally separate state, as they've been offered over and over and over again. But he's like, nope, the people just sit there all day long getting bombed to nothing, and it's a nightmarish Mad Max-like hellscape. And how do you expect them to react to this thing I made up? Again, I understand. There are lots of aspects about being in Gaza that suck. What is the solution? He's asking, what are you supposed to do? Well, think about the options. We can accept the circumstances, and this is the reality, and let's try to get along and not encourage terrorism, because that's how we can actually get our own state. Or B, let's just keep going and massacring people, knowing that we're going to get bombed. And he's saying, oh, well, of course you're going to go launch the terrorist attack and get bombed over and over again. It's all you're ever going to do. And that way you're constantly getting bombed, and thus giving you the nightmarish hellscape. Wow.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Top G.
But yeah, apparently it's so bad, the situation, that you have to go around and target people, shoot people down in the middle of the street, hunt them down. I don't know.
You don't know any of that happened, AP, because that all comes from the media, and the media lies. He's already established that point. The media lies. Can't trust anything about anything that Hamas did. It doesn't sound like he's entirely convinced that Hamas actually did anything, if you're going to just deny it.
Like this stuff.
Well, where'd you get that? The media.
Like this stuff, these people, civilians running, Hamas guy running after them with his gun.
Oh yeah, because Hollywood can't make a video about people running. That's impossible, right, AP? Come on.
Yeah. They are running for their lives, running to safety. The Hamas guy is probably trying to.
This could be part of a marathon. You don't know. The media lies about everything.
Look, he's going to shoot the one person there, and then goes to the other one.
Could be paintball. You don't know. The media lies.
That's a girl. I think that's an adolescent, I believe, that was running. And the Hamas member now is so brave. Look, this is the bravery, the brave guys that Mohammed Hijab brags about. Like, IDF are cowards. They don't go and fight man to man.
Yes, they should be fighting man to adolescent girl.
This is the brave Hamas guy who, after having a civilian little girl sit in front of him and asking for mercy, what does he do? Shoots her. Dead. This is what they did all the time, the entire time within Israel. They went into civilian communities and shot down, beat, tortured, burned, raped, captured random people. Apparently, this is what you need to do if you are oppressed under these terrible circumstances in Gaza, where you can, where you have very nice beaches and go out to the beach all the time because nobody has to work anyway.
It's unfortunately an eye for an eye in this world.
Tell me,
I'm not condoning. I'm being a professional and answering.
Give me one example of where Israel without any provocation, went into, a specific question, went into Gaza and massacred 1,500 innocent people, cutting their heads off, taping and boasting about what they'd done back to their families in Israel, kidnapping Holocaust survivors, bringing them, they wouldn't, of course, done that in their case, kidnapping old grandmothers and bringing them back to Israel, kidnapping babies, kidnapping children. When has Israel actually gone in and done something of the scale of October the 7th?
There's literally endless examples of that.
Give me one.
Oh yeah, give me an example. Give us an example. Let's see. Does he give an example?
Give me one.
Let's see.
In 2014, they were bombing civilians.
Give me,
And you know what? Pierce.
Notice what he said right there. Bombing civilians.
Yeah.
Meaning, yeah, look at this.
As a result of an operation in response to a terrorist attack. Nothing. The question was.
I'm not talking about what they would categorize as retaliation for rocket strikes. And there's an arguable point, as there is, for example, I'm vehemently against the expansion of the settlements on the West Bank. I think there are legitimate questions about the proportionality of Israel's response here.
Yeah,
but in terms of what Hamas perpetrated on October the 7th, there is no instance of Israel doing that to the people of Gaza. And you have to accept that. If you don't accept that, you're either deluded or you're deliberately not wanting to say the obvious, which is that was an act of
Share the super chat by Ezra.
Man.
It's the most recent super chat.
Ezra Gerger said Tate must have been listening to Far 4.
Yeah, but notice he's giving his version of events is exactly what Far 4 says is the version of events. Yeah. Andrew Tate is giving the version of events from Hamas Palestinian Children's Television.
Yeah, you just sit there and then somehow they attack you and you die and your homework gets lost.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens.
Your homework gets lost in the bombing.
Yeah. See how this is an instance of a very typical position where somebody like Andrew Tate, who doesn't know anything about the conflict, who doesn't know anything about it at all, except just repeating slogans, repeating stuff that people say here and there. He doesn't know anything about it, but he tries to talk about it. He tries to act like he is, of course, right. He knows, of course, what is going on, and he's now getting stumped by Piers Morgan, which is very, very shameful. I mean, Piers Morgan doesn't often catch people and expose them this way, but he's being. He just got destroyed here in the argument.
It's on the West Bank. I think there are legitimate questions about the proportionality of Israel's response here.
Yeah,
but in terms of what Hamas perpetrated on October the 7th, there is no instance of Israel doing that to the people of Gaza. And you have to accept that. If you don't accept that, you're either deluded or you're deliberately not wanting to say the obvious, which is that was an act of terrorism, because you're concerned about upsetting people in Palestine. Is that the case?
Let me go back to my first
Yes,
point.
that is the case. That is the case.
I'm actually impressed with Piers Morgan here. I mean,
that is exactly the case. Any idiot can see, even if you want to condemn Israel too, any idiot can see that Hamas waged a terrorist attack. How is that even a debate that's been going on for 6 minutes and 30 seconds so far, and is still going to go? How is that even a debate that it was a terrorist attack? Why won't Tate say it? Because he knows Muslims will flip out on him, and that's whose favor he is seeking right now.
Plus, he also got caught. Piers Morgan asked him, give me one instance where Israel did the same thing. He started laughing it off.
There's so many. Give me one.
Give me one.
They bomb civilians.
It happens. Don't ask me. Just look it up. This is embarrassing. Don't talk about stuff you don't know anything about to please your audiences. Giovanni Garcia is about time, AP. Dang, typical atheist being late. They don't believe in being on time either. I know it's atheists.
No, didn't say atheist, said atheist. I think that's a girl atheist. That's weird.
It is. Anthony Lafleur said, do you think King Tate learned about the conflict from far further out? Yeah. He did. Very much.
That would, by the way, anyone who's watching, we give you awesome video ideas left and right. You make a video. Andrew Tate learns about the Palestinian conflict from Far For the Mouse. Then you just play the Far For the Mouse clip, and you show Andrew Tate saying the exact same thing.
Yeah.
said you're peddling asininities. The reason I said that is because to look at a situation, no matter how heinous, and to ignore all of the context and pretend that you do not understand why said situation happened
nothing justifies terrorism on that scale. Nothing
is asinine.
No, it's not.
Because it's not about justification.
Let me tell you why.
It's not about justification.
Let me tell you.
It's about understanding the realities of the world.
Let me tell you the realities of the world. Hamas came to power in 2005.
This is such stupid sophistry. It doesn't matter what you say about understanding the reality. Yes, we can understand the realities of what people do. Why people do what the things they do, but you still have to look at the situation and accurately describe a brutal, vile act of terrorism as a brutal, vile act of terrorism. Yes, I know they do things because they are motivated by many different factors. But hey, is that act condemnable or not? Is it justifiable or not? Is it an act of terrorism or not?
This reminds me of Bill Burr. He has that. He has a clip about wife beating, and he'll hear like so and so hit his wife, and he says he's always like, well, what'd she do? And people are like, what? Nothing justifies it. Like, no, I'm not saying you do it, but it's going to affect my view of what happened. So is this a guy who comes home from work and his boss chewed him out, so he comes in and beats on his wife? Or is it like she burned all his stuff, threw all his stuff out the window, and he flipped out and hit her? But the point he's making is, yeah, you can understand someone's reasons for doing stuff. You can say, oh, I understand why that guy flipped out and so on. You still condemn what he did. Say, look, even if you're flipping out and she burns your stuff, you don't swing on her. You don't do that. So you could, in other words, you can take everything Andrew Tate is saying and say, okay, I get why this person is mad. I get why this person's mad. That person's really, really enraged in a way that I've never been in that situation. So that person, I get that there are all these reasons and so on. You still don't do it. You still don't run around massacring all these people running around and so on.
Yeah. There are some lunatics here in the chat. I don't know.
Oh, shocker.
I don't know why. There's some big lunatics here in the chat, including one that said something about Anne Frank. And that is very messed up, number one. But the other issue is also that the person can't even spell Anne Frank. So, oh, yeah, here. Underwood said Anne Frank is in hell.
Very helpful.
Thank you for the contribution. Maybe you should Google how to spell her name first. So, yeah.
Hamas's initial founding charter made it clear that they are for the eradication of Israel. And on October the 7th, they proved what that means is they will kill every Jew they can get their hands on. They are an existential...
That is not even the extent to which the charter goes. This is a very big understatement.
They prove what that means, that they are for the eradication. Hamas's initial founding charter made it clear that they are for the eradication of Israel. And on October the 7th, they proved what that means.
Hamas's initial charter is not only for the eradication of Israel, it is for the eradication of Jews. The killing, the massacring, the extermination of Jews as a promise by Allah and Muhammad, which they aspire to, which they hope for. That is what is said in the initial charter of Hamas. So they are not just against the existence of Israel, they are against the existence of Jews altogether and want to kill them.
But AP, the media lies, and the media is run by Jews. So how can you believe any of that you just read from Hamas's own charter?
I can't trust the media. Yeah. Can't trust the media. What if the media makes me see things the way they are not? You never know. Yeah.
Is they will kill every Jew they can get their hands on. They are an existential threat to people in Israel and to Jewish people. And that is, I'm afraid, the purest personification of a terror group. I also think by doing what they did, as they have done since 2005, they weren't representing innocent Palestinian people in Gaza.
Who are suffering now.
They knew, yes, but Hamas knew when they did what they did that Israel would respond the way they did and that thousands of innocent Palestinians would get killed. They knew that, and they still did it. So my question for you is, why can't you, which is my position on this, is very straightforward. What Hamas did was an act of terror. an absolutely despicable act of terror and should be called exactly what it is. And they are now demonstrably a terrorist group. That is why they were rightly prescribed that by the UK and America and other countries. And to try and pretend they're not makes you sound like Jeremy Corbyn. I can't think of a worse insult.
Burn. Look, even Tate like that one. Called him the Jeremy Corbyn.
Man. Oh boy,
They're not makes you sound like Jeremy Corbyn. I can't think of a worse.
Definitely not.
So
Definitely not a top G move. He should say that. How can you call yourself the top G when you're pandering to your fans and won't call out a terrorist attack?
Yeah. He even made him laugh with that insult. It's so bad.
But I also think there are legitimate questions to come about the way Israel's responded. We can come to that. But I just want to ask you one more time. Is what Hamas did on October 7th...
How far? This entire discussion so far has been, will you call it a terrorist attack and condemn it?
8 minutes.
We're 8 minutes into it.
Pierce, it is peddling asininities for you to pretend that enslaving
You sound
people...
like Jeremy Corbyn.
No, let me answer the question.
15 times.
He said enslaving people.
Let me answer the question.
You're now up
I'm
to
not
about...
refusing.
You're now
If you
about
look-
3 or 4.
This is a guy. This is a guy who built his empire on enslaving
They're deemed a terrorist.
on enslaving girls.
Yeah, they actually called it slaving. This is what he does. You asked me. You say, so do you think stealing my my car is wrong or not? And I'm like, well, let me answer you a question. If you put people into a position
Professionally.
where they do the following things, which then lead to these other things, given the circumstances and the realities of the world that we live in, and all the authorities that impose rules upon us, and the system of capitalism, which we shouldn't even be talking about, and so on, and you're like, can you just answer the question? Like, I am answering a question. Given the nature of humanity, just answer the damn question.
Now, look, I mean, he could say everything he's saying right now and still grant that it's a terrorist attack. He said, of course it's a terrorist attack. It's just, I get why they did it. But it's not. He won't even say that because he's worried about what people are going to say.
Yeah. They're going to be angry.
Top G running around pandering to his viewers.
Look at this, by the way. No, I can't look at this, of course.
You can't look at it because there's an error.
Yeah. Look at this. No, this is translated by memory. And Hamas Friday sermon from Deir al-Balah, Gaza. Al-Aqsa TV. Broadcast directly on national TV by Hamas in Gaza. On the One TV channel.
It's like 1,000 years ago.
أننا سنبيدكم على بكرة أبيكم ولن نبقي منكم أحدا.
We will exterminate you. We will not leave one single one of you alive.
لأنكم ظلام الأرض وشذاذ الآفاق ومرتزقة الزمان بل مرتزقة كل زمان. راجعوا التاريخ أيها الإخوة فما وجد اليهود في مكان إلا سعوا فيه فسادا. ألم تقف على قول الله يا مسلم.
So yeah, in the speech, this broadcast on national TV to every single Palestinian, especially people in the Gaza Strip, the guy preaches to all of them, we will kill the Jews, we will kill them, we will not leave one of them alive. We'll just look at what Jews do. Wherever they are, they spread corruption. We have to kill them all. This is what they preach in Gaza. But no. It's just, if you put people in a position, where they are, where they can't live very comfortably because you don't give them what they want, which is your own extermination, then of course people will do such things. Yeah.
What do you think?
I think that if you lock people in an open-air prison and steal their land, they're going to retaliate.
So they're not a terror group?
I think they're going to
Steal their land.
Not a terror group.
One team's terrorists is another
Okay, we're
team's
now up
freedom
to about
fighter.
8. Are they a terror group?
And also, another thing I want to make clear to you, Pierce.
Only Jeremy Corbyn has done this. Refuse to answer the question.
I think that what they are doing is
He also doesn't know what.
It is funny. I've asked a ton of people this. The only person who wouldn't answer, like you're not doing, is Jeremy Corbyn. You are the only person who is in the exact same category with Jeremy Corbyn.
Yeah.
maybe Jeremy Corbyn is the real top G. Is that the case, Andrew?
Open a prison, steal their land. I bet you, if you ask him about stealing the land and
He
what
has
he
no clue what
means,
he's talking about.
what he means by it, he will not know what he's talking about.
No, nothing.
He doesn't know what he's talking about at all.
He will have the standard Farfor the mouse understanding of
They
what happened.
steal our land. Steal our land. It was all ours. I even have the papers here. But the Zionists, the Jews, they came and they stole our land.
Deemed an act of terror by the people that the terror.
Don't use Weasley words.
They're not Weasley. Of course, the Israelis think they're a terror group. Of course,
Wait.
He said Weasley. He said,
Oh.
"Don't use Weasley words."
Why did you say that one?
I think that what they are doing is seemingly deemed an act of terror by the people that the terror.
Don't use Weasley words.
They're not Weasley. Of course, the Israelis think they're a terror group, and of course, the Palestinians think they're freedom fighters.
most
It's
of the-
stupid that you're asking the question.
Most
because
of the
it's clear.
civilized world thinks they're a terror group who committed an act of terrorism. It's not difficult. What they did was an act of terrorism.
And I think that if Israel continues to
I'm gonna
conduct
come to-
acts of
I'm going
terrorism
to
on the Palestinian people, they're going to do nothing.
So he immediately states, this gets lost in the conversation here, but he immediately states that what Israel does are acts of terrorism, but he refuses to call what Hamas does an act of terrorism. Although he said at the beginning, I understand, I don't side with either side. I understand that both sides do what they want for different purposes under different circumstances. He then here right now repeatedly calls what Israel does, which he can't even describe, he couldn't even give an example, as terrorist acts, but he refuses to call what Hamas did on October 7th a terrorist act. This is how dishonest this is.
Yeah. I mean, going along with what Tate's talking about of being able to see things from different perspectives. As I pointed out, you can understand, even if you haven't experienced it, you can kind of think about what it would be like to be in an area where you might get bombed because of what some guys running around doing. Yeah, you might be very enraged at the people who drop a bomb on you and so on. But think, going back to that memory clip you were playing with that preacher. If you're Israel, you've got guys who are just a couple miles away from you preaching this stuff and saying, we're going to exterminate every last one of you. And if you want to take this guy out because he's actually inciting genocide, then you do what? Oh, here's where he is. We'll drop a bomb on him. Then the civilians are there and so on. So it's a pretty crap situation.
Yeah, well, but don't you know, David, that in reality the term terrorism is a neo-colonial social construct which aims to serve the Western powers and their allies. So, what does terrorism mean anyway? So,
Hey, did you post? You got our responses there? Where's your response?
Oh, my one response is here, which says,
no, you
why
posted.
Did you say so?
You posted your own. That's the one I said you're as cold as ice, but you actually did a different definition.
I did this. In reality, the term rape is a feminist social construct which aims to serve the feminist powers and their allies.
I posted one. What did I say?
And you said, in reality, the term pedophile is a crypto-fascist smear that's been weaponized by Islamophobes against Dawagandists who support child rape.
Yeah, it's like, just going to say, in reality, this term, which describes a particular really bad, messed up thing, is just, it's part of a conspiracy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's all just a conspiracy. Susan Lee said, as a Catholic, I just might know more about Islam than Andrew Tate. I bet you do. You can probably put money on it. I think you're probably right.
To be fair, though, I think a Martian Buddhist would understand more about this than Andrew Tate.
There are no
more about
Buddhists on
Islam.
Mars. Yeah. There are no Buddhists on Mars. Stop lying, dude.
You don't know that. Prove it. Conspiracy.
Can't
trust the media. Can't trust the media.
Muta Genji said OnlyFans entrepreneur. Yes, for those who don't know, Andrew Tate proudly made much of his money by being an OnlyFans boss, by luring women into his home and then employing them as OnlyFans models under the false promise that this is only temporary and he will eventually marry them and all that.
And I think about how absurd it is when he opens up this entire discussion and it's, I'm being oppressed. I'm the one being oppressed here. this guy, he spent years making piles of money by manipulating women into doing porn for him. And he's making, what was it, 70? He's getting 70, taking 70% of the money from them. And then he continues to increase his popularity by spreading his courses on how other people can do it. You can actually learn to manipulate girls into doing porn for you, even girls who don't want anything to do with that. Get them to fall in love with you, and then use their love for you to manipulate and control them. So he makes tons of piles of money from teaching other people to do that, and then he goes around the internet with this with all this stuff, bragging about what he's been doing for years. And he's doing this to get more and more popularity in order to increase the sales of his courses. And then when it actually comes out, oh, he's actually doing this stuff to girls. We got some witnesses here that can testify to what he's been doing. It's just because of my empowering message to young men that I'm being oppressed. How in the name of common sense does anyone take this guy seriously? But here we are on Piers Morgan.
And we also have a clip, by the way, by Milk Bar TV, who was the one who spread the lies of Andrew Tate and uncovered them and spread the truth about Andrew Tate to many people in the mainstream, including to Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, and so on. He made another video which has not many views, but I just shared it on my community tab to spread it. He went through all of the lies. Maybe if we have time, we can watch this after we are done with the current video, or we can have another live stream on that.
Yeah, we'd have to. We're only through 9 minutes of 35.
Alhamdulillah.
And the question is still, do you condemn Hamas?
Used to conduct acts of terrorism on the Palestinians.
Wait, why are you stuttering?
You
just got him stuttering.
Reaction.
Why stuttering?
That's a different conversation I'm about to have with you about Israel's response. But before I get there, one more time, is Hamas a terror group who committed terrorism?
I think that when you lock people in an open air prison, you're going to have to
you're not going to answer.
Retaliation. No, because I have to. There's people who are first.
Jeremy Corbyn, everyone.
I think it's
there are people who will be angry with me if I say they are. That's why I can answer the question, of course.
Yeah, Mohammed Hijab will call me and start talking about vibrators if I say anything he doesn't want.
Yeah, I don't know. Andrew, I just saw you. I just watched you on Piers Morgan. Why were you shaking when he asked you about Hamas?
You little weakling!
Do you have a vibrator in your pocket?
Spineless.
Sure.
I do.
That's fine.
You sound like Jeremy.
Wait.
He just called him spineless.
Okay,
Retaliation. No, because I have to. There's people who are first things I want to say.
If you don't mind me saying, I think it's spineless.
Sure.
I do.
That's fine.
You sound like Jeremy Corbyn.
Well, that is an insult.
Did you see my interview with him?
No.
Right. 15 times last week, I asked him the same question. 15 times he prevaricated and wouldn't answer. Eventually, when someone does that enough times, you know what they really think.
Okay.
You don't think they're...
You know what? I heard so much trash about Piers Morgan over the years. And after watching two people who have gathered so much reputation, so much respect over the many years, namely Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, when they interviewed this guy, they were like, they were being like, oh, hey Andrew, yeah. So what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? Oh yeah, what you're doing is so important. Oh yes, of course you're right. They were acting like that, and Piers Morgan is here. He's grilling him. He's calling him spineless to his face right in front of him. I don't know. I just got. Suddenly, I have so much respect for Piers Morgan.
Yeah, I have to say, Andrew, you come across as a spineless little weakling. I wonder if you can even fight. Perhaps I could take you.
But I've rarely seen him like this. He's being very harsh right now, and this is good to see. I'm actually positively surprised here. Where Tucker Carlson was just being a little tool and was being used by Andrew Tate and was appearing like a little.
Tell me, Andrew, what's it like to be the greatest man alive? Wow, I just sit here in awe. And why are all the jealous people who are accusing you of all these things that you bragged about doing for years, why are they coming at you? Just because of your empowering message to young men?
And Candace was like, "Oh, I just find it so unfair. It's so unfair that they come after you just because you say such great things and you inspire young men to become better men. Isn't it so unfair? It's disgusting." These people.
Let me answer.
You don't
without
think
being
they're a terror
interrupted.
group?
No, what I think is this. On certain
Because I'd be
scenarios,
really curious what you think an act of terror is if it's not massacring 1,500 innocent people.
it's not.
I can tell you what it is.
It is a metaphysical matter.
Including Holocaust survivors,
Pierce.
kidnapping babies,
Pierce.
decapitating
Pierce.
people, cutting their limbs
Pierce.
off, raping women.
Yeah, talk about missing limbs. We're going to talk about that when we talk about what
We
Israel have
are,
done.
but
So
when we
let's-
get there, it'll be in the context of you not admitting that was an act of terror.
Well, let me answer the question for the final time. I am a realist. And as a realist, sometimes you do not come to the conclusion of labeling good guys and bad guys. The world is not black and white.
Hamas are bad guys.
No, the world is not black and white. The world is actually very gray. Anybody who sits and thinks there's
Nothing
clearly a
gray
good
about
guy,
what- there's nothing
and
gray
clearly a
about
good
what
guy
Hamas
and
did.
clearly a bad guy does not understand how the world works. And as a realist, what you do is you look at scenarios and you understand why they happen, how unfortunate they are, how unfortunate the loss of human life is, how civilians die on both sides.
Why is he redefining realism right now? What? Oh God.
How innocents are dying in a
Okay.
chess game played by the elites on both
He's
sides.
he's about to start calling himself a humanist as well.
God, this is incredible.
Person making the decisions who are ensuring their death, signing their death warrants. It's unfortunate on both sides.
Okay.
But listen, sir, you would not advocate Russia doing any of the things to Ukraine that Israel is doing to Palestine. You would not sit
Russia
here.
has been doing exactly that.
Russia
to
has
Ukraine.
not done a fraction
Russia
of the things to
illegally,
Ukraine
Russia,
that Israel has done to Palestine.
Russia illegally invaded a sovereign democratic country and has committed a barbaric rampage, trying to seize as much of Ukraine as it can, bombing maternity hospitals,
Let me ask you a
killing
question.
innocent women
Let me
and
ask you a
children.
question.
Right? Don't even try and have some kind of.
Now they're talking about Russia and Ukraine.
Completely different nature of conflict, completely different way it unfolded. Very, very hard to compare, but of course, Andrew Tate, he can't stay on topic because he's talking about things he knows nothing about. So he has to go and talk about vaccines, talk about this now.
At least he's not talking about vibrators and stuff. So
Yeah.
I mean, and now, Andrew, let's discuss the War of 1812. What?
This man is being more slippery than the lubricants he sells in his daughter's sex shop. If you ask him about
This man is behaving. It's more slippery than Muhammad's garments after Dihya al-Kalbi came for a visit.
this reminds me of this. If Andrew was asked what he's talking about when he says stealing land, it would probably sound like this.
What people are starting to see, at least in the occupation of Palestine, is just an increasing crisis of humanitarian condition.
Do you think you can expand on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd also just, I am not the expert on geopolitics on this issue. You know,
You're not? I thought you were.
I'm a firm believer in finding a two-state solution. And
This is just so stupid. Guys, this is about what he would sound like if you asked him about the stealing land and occupation.
Will, a Hamas rocket, a tiny Hamas rocket that can make a pothole in the road, and then they get hit back with cruise missiles. Let me ask you a question. Ukraine sent a drone and it hit the Kremlin. A drone attack. It did nothing. It damaged some shingles. If Russia decided to then respond with a missile attack on a hospital and annihilate 800 people,
It has been.
do you think that would be allowed?
That's exactly what it has been.
Would you?
Russia has actually been, from the very first day of the invasion, bombing and shooting at residences, hospitals, and all kinds of places. This came up very early in the invasion and the war. I don't know why what he's talking about. He doesn't know what he's talking about. So
Advocate for that?
Have you seen?
Would you support that?
Have
reaction?
you seen the state of Mariupol, which they leveled to the ground?
The Ukrainians did level it.
The
You're
Russian,
correct.
no, the Russians.
2014.
The
Get with
Russians
the program.
leveled Mariupol.
And my question to you is, would you advocate those reactions? Let me ask you another question, Pierce.
No,
this is a genuine
okay.
question. Let me ask you a question, because I want to understand your point
It's
of view.
actually my interview with you.
Yeah, but you tried to understand mine. I just want to understand your point of view. If I believed, or if Israel believed, that one of the people in your house was a terrorist and decided to destroy your entire house and kill your entire family, would you sit and say, well, maybe there was a terrorist inside, I accept that? Or would you be enraged? Genuine question.
I don't think you can take an individual person's response.
Well, it's a bunch of
What a stupid comparison. Do you want to analyze why this is a very idiotic comparison, David? Do you want to go through this?
I was actually on what they just brought up a second ago about Ukraine. I just looked up how many civilians have been killed from the Russian invasion of Ukraine. It's more than 10,000 so far.
Oh yeah.
So it's just interesting that I mean, hundreds of thousands of people killed in Syria. You had hundreds of thousands of people killed either directly or through starvation and so on in Yemen over and over again. And somehow the civilians only matter if we're talking about Israel.
Yeah. Ukraine came up, and some people make comparisons and say Ukraine Azov uses human shields. AP trusts BBC on the Ukraine conflict.
The media lies.
I don't know why you're trying to say something. Why you're trying to accuse people of being fooled by the media while bringing up something like this. Ukraine Azov. Do you know how many members Azov has? Which is this far right neo-Nazi-ish military movement in Ukraine. Do you know how many members that has? It has about like
billion.
2,000 or something like that.
Or a billion, whichever comes first.
It's like a tiny little section, like a tiny little spot in the Ukrainian military forces, a tiny little spot in the Ukrainian population. In fact, they made a political party which couldn't even receive enough votes to get qualified to sit in the parliament. So please shut up.
Individual people in Gaza, they're individuals with thoughts and dreams and aspirations which are being annihilated. 15-year-old girls without legs because of cruise missiles. They are individual people. They're not cattle, Piers.
Let's come to
they're
that.
people.
Right, and so were the people in Israel on October the 7th.
They're not cattle. They're not cattle like my webcam girls. They're people.
Bar of terrorism.
It's not about reaching bar of terrorism. It's understanding why things happen.
By not saying it, you've made your position clear, just as Jeremy Corbyn did. And to pretend you're
Just as Jeremy Corbyn, your ideological twin brother.
Man. Zippy Murphy said, David, would an AP awesome work you too? Did you get a chance to watch Sam and Eric? David, are you doing any more videos with Sam Shimon? Sam and Eric, Eric
Don't know
Eric
who they're
Weinstein.
talking about.
Sam Harris and Eric Weinstein. I guess that's what you're talking about.
No.
We haven't. I haven't. I think both of those guys are very insightful people, but the thing is,
What were they talking about?
they're very painful. They're very boring to listen to. But I agree that they are both very insightful. I think they talked about the Israel-Palestine conflict and what.
Oh yeah, how to solve this? 2 hours? Yeah.
Difference between difference between religions on trigonometry. Which trigonometry is a channel that I like, and I like.
They're pretty cool.
Posts here.
Yeah, I like both those guys.
Yeah, might be worth looking into, but it's way too long to.
Yeah,
maybe we
why
could pick a section.
Why can't they make it 5 minutes? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we could pick a section here and one day go through it. For example, there was the mindset of Hamas. There was we are at war with jihadis. Anti-Semitism. Why are Jews so successful? And they talked about jihad at some point. I don't know, but yeah, we could talk about this. We could pick something.
Isn't it funny? Thinking about the way Douglas Murray was talking about it. You're thinking, if you're a Muslim and you believe you have the final prophet and the final revelation and you've got the ultimate source of knowledge, wouldn't you expect that if you're the group that's guided by this ultimate resource, that you'd have, quite a bit of success in the world? and not be making all these places that no one wants to live in and everyone wants to get out and go to other places. Wouldn't you think that? But notice you could flip that and say, if you were Jews and they're talking about, hey, why are these guys so successful? Wouldn't you be like, I don't know, it's got to have something to do with what we believe, huh? Got to do something.
Yeah.
Like why can't the jihadis ever sit back and think, hey, maybe the epic failures here have something to do with what we believe?
Most likely. But no, it can't be. That can't be it. It has to be. It has to do something with the West and the Jews.
Different is ridiculous. Let's move on to Israel's response, because there are legitimate questions about this.
I like when he's grinning, though.
40,000 terrorists, in my estimation. You can call them whatever you like. And they're embedded amongst the civilian population, predominantly in northern Gaza. We know from intelligence over the last 20 years, which you won't believe because they're making.
The comparison. So, if, for example, within Israel, this is also very interesting. Mohammed Hijab asked a similar question several weeks ago, maybe. He said something like, if there was a terrorist hiding in Israel or something like that, and Israel, would Israel start bombing that place, with the excuse that there is a terrorist inside or something like that, which is a very stupid scenario, very stupid comparison. They probably wouldn't start bombing because they could just go in. They could just go in and storm the place and find the terrorist and drag them out. If there is no terrorist, they would end up not finding them, but they would not need to bomb that place under any circumstances. But if the situation is that there are terrorists in Gaza, the IDF cannot just go in there and just confront the terrorists. That's specifically what Hamas wants. Hamas wants them to come in there. That's what they want. And Israel can't just send their men in there. Do you know how scandalous it would be if Israel sent soldiers into Gaza and they were mass killed as a result of a trap by Hamas? That would be terrible for Israel. They won't do that.
And things are always going to depend on the severity of the threat and on what options are available. If a terrorist were hiding in a Jewish market in Israel, and this guy had his finger on the trigger of a nuclear bomb, and the only thing they could do to stop him is blow the place up, they would blow the place up. They would calculate the pros and cons and say, okay, this is such a huge threat that we have to drop the bomb here. And so when you're dealing with Hamas, if Hamas is completely incompetent, then you think, okay, we don't need to resort to completely drastic measures. When they just go over, under, and through your defenses and kill over 1,000 of you very quickly, then you have to, okay, now we got to take these guys out.
Yeah. This is what I remember whenever someone says hiding. This is what I think of.
Hiding, boy. You're hiding. And you know you can't come out and show your face. You're hiding.
Very impressive to his followers. Wow, our hero. Let's make him the champion of Dawa. He's not a narcissist at all.
You're hiding, boy. Man, this guy has problems. This man.
You think
real problems?
Yeah.
You think he's got problems? Think about an entire ideology that chooses that as their representative. And of course, Andrew Tate. This is awesome.
You're sick. You are sick.
Yeah.
Made it all up. Correct. We know from intelligence that historically Hamas likes to embed itself, particularly around things like schools and hospitals and mosques, because that makes it more difficult if the Israelis attack. Yeah. Now,
that's exactly what I would do, Pierce.
Nearly 12,000 people in its response, right? There are many people around the world demanding a ceasefire who think that is a ridiculously disproportionate response to what happened. Well, it was
genocide, you giant dummy. If you want to, it's like now, anytime anyone, it's just genocide has become a word. It's like how people would use the word racism and they would apply racist to something that has nothing to do with race just because it's an insult. Now anything, anytime anyone does anything you don't like, you just say it's genocide, apparently. So now it's not enough to say, oh, this person's doing this thing I don't like. it's racism. Now it's oh, this person's doing this thing I don't like. Therefore, it's genocide.
So my side attacks the other side, then the other side bombs my side and kills a lot of people, and then I say it's genocide. Why is it genocide? Well, because all of these people happen to be, Palestinians, or all of these people are, I don't know, from Madagascar. That's why it's genocide.
He won't even say the word terrorism applied to Hamas. Terrorism is a tactic, and the definition is exactly what Hamas is doing, and that's what the organization is dedicated to. So he can't even use the word terrorism with Hamas, but he'll use genocide with Israel.
Yeah, terrorism is nowadays it has become kind of a very I don't know how I can say that. Like I don't want to say stigmatized or derogatory. It is of course bad, but it has become like it has these evil undertones where there are still terrorist organizations that openly say we are a terrorist organization, or there were terrorist organizations a century ago that said our methods are terrorism. Yes, we want to fight through terrorism to reach our goal. It's because that is the method. It's like some people will say our method, we are a guerrilla group. Other people will say we are a terrorist group. By calling them terrorists, you are not insulting them. You are pointing out what they are. And if we look at Hamas, yes, they are a terrorist organization. This is what they are doing. They are trying to achieve their goals by targeting civilians, by being violent, by killing civilians, and thereby spreading fear and spreading their message and trying to change the way things are right now. That is terrorism. That is terrorism. That's what they do.
Want to kill everyone in Palestine. They don't.
They just want to drive them all out.
Whereas Hamas do want to kill every Jew. That is actually what genocide is.
You know what's actually interesting? Because you've spoken about this subject with people who actually understand the conflict better than I do. Mohammed Hijab understands it better. Loki understands it better. I'm talking from a very general humanistic perspective. I don't understand.
Mohammed Hijab, as you know, in your discussion about vibrators and dildos and lube, he understands it very well.
Remember one thing, Mohammed Hijab, in his discussion with Rabbi Shmuley here on Piers Morgan, actually had to admit that Israel has so far not committed a genocide. Remember that.
That is correct.
He did admit that it would be a genocide if they killed like millions of Palestinians, but at this point, they have not committed a genocide. He had to admit that.
And he said it would be a genocide if they applied his fictional 100-to-1 ratio in order to exterminate all of Hamas, because based on the number of Hamas fighters, if you wanted to kill all of them and you killed 100 times as many civilians, it would be a genocide. But notice he's saying, as you pointed out, he's saying it hasn't risen to the level of genocide. He's saying it would if they did what they would need to do in order to exterminate Hamas, on the assumption that my 100-to-1 ratio is correct. By the way, the 100-to-1 ratio is based on me not being able to read a headline. That's what he would have to say. Man. How epic would it have been right there for Piers Morgan when he goes, but there are people who know so much more than me about this, like Mohammed Hijab, Captain Golden Showers. If Pierce would have just jumped in, wait a minute, Hijab said it's not a genocide yet. So are you saying, do you condemn Mohammed Hijab? That'd been awesome.
Yeah, let's see. For those who don't know what we're talking about, here it is.
What you don't do, I can tell you for a fact, is try and kill 30,000 of them with a 100-to-1 ratio. Because if you do that, then you're committing genocide, because you'd have to kill 3 million Palestinians.
Rabbi Shmuley?
Do you even know the definition of genocide?
I haven't said genocide.
What's it? You just said it.
I said if you.
What is the definition of genocide? What's the definition?
I said if you do.
You always claim to be an academic. You're always touting your Oxford credentials. What is the definition?
All right.
Conditional.
Genocide. Genocide is where. Genocide is where.
You'll be genocidal.
Genocide is where you target an ethnicity.
So thereby he said that he hasn't accused Israel of having committed a genocide. If they did that, that would be genocide.
And we keep giving everyone the topics. You YouTubers who are watching, we keep giving you the topics. Here it is. Mohammed Hijab destroys Andrew Tate on genocide. That's it. That's it. You play the clip of Andrew Tate. You just cut all the clips out of Andrew Tate. It's genocide. It's genocide. It's genocide. And Mohammed Hijab. Oh, I didn't say that. I said if you did this.
Yeah. That's very, very, very funny. Very funny.
Intricacies like they do.
Do you know what genocide means?
Of course I do.
Right. Genocide means you want to eradicate an entire people based on race or ethnicity. Israel clearly doesn't want to do that to the Palestinian people.
Clearly not.
If it did, it wouldn't tell 1 million of them, as it turned out, who moved south. Now, there are arguments about whether
to attack them as they moved.
Well, some people
not really.
got hit as they moved.
Oh, some people got hit.
Yes.
Some people got hit.
You know what?
You know
Andrew,
what happens?
You know what, Andrew?
Wait till it's your son, son.
You know what?
Wait till it's your son.
I agree. And you know what, Andrew? War is horrific. It's horrific. The question is it a just war for Israel?
What is it good for?
It's also funny that he says clearly he doesn't know the conflict. He doesn't know the history of it because he doesn't know a single thing except being a pimp and all that. But the recent history of the conflict is also that Israel deliberately in 2005 pulled out of the Gaza Strip and allowed it to self-govern. Not as a sovereign state yet, but to self-govern and to work toward it. If prior to that, Israel was occupying Gaza. It was under Israeli control and occupation as a result of wars. So if Israel had wanted to, eradicate the Palestinians or drive them out of Gaza, they would have done that. They wouldn't have pulled out of Gaza. That makes no sense. If their aim was to drive them out of Gaza, they wouldn't have pulled out of Gaza. That makes no sense at all. That brings them in no way closer to driving them out of Gaza. That is stupid. But of course, Andrew Tate wouldn't know any of this. He doesn't know. He just needs to find an Israeli pen pal.
To Hamas, and if it is, and you believe as I do, Hamas has to be got rid of. How do you do that? If you don't do it the way Israel is doing it, how do you get rid of that terror group? Now, you won't agree with anything they're doing because you can't even categorize them as a terror group.
No, the reason I won't agree with them is because I'm a human, Pierce. Please let me answer this.
Ooh, you're not human. Andrew Tate dehumanizes anyone who disagrees with him.
Andrew Tate admits he's a human. Sanke says 2023 worst countries for Christians open doors: North Korea, Somalia, Yemen, Eritrea, Libya, Nigeria, Pakistan, Iran, Afghanistan, Sudan. Notice anything?
Yes, North Korea.
Yes, North Korea. Yeah. What I notice is that these places are not good for Christians. Yeah.
I don't know what any of the rest have in common, but yeah, North Korea. That's the only one we should focus on. Anything else would be Islamophobic.
Yeah. Don't move to North Korea. Ayatollah Khamenei said the leather straps of my ANUS are watering just looking up on the face of Prophet Tater. Only fits. What's wrong with you? Leather straps. See, says AP read in white girl voice.
Read in a white girl's voice. So is it impersonating one of those TikTok?
Oh my
morons?
Goodness, guys! I just read this book by some guy named Adolf, and it's really opened my leather straps.
Hey, what's funny? I don't know if you saw it, but that account is leather straps to the anus, but it has 2 leather straps.
I saw that. Giovanni Garcia said, AP, we believe in nothing. Yeah, we believe in
believe in nothing. We are nihilists. We don't believe in anything. Give us the money, Lebowski.
Farfur said, shut it and take my super shekels, yeah. SSGT Dud said super shekels for AP's Bugatti. Thank you. I'm putting it all together just to get my Bugatti. Still don't have enough shekels to get the Bugatti. But yeah, still accepting shekels to get my Bugatti. Still working on it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Othman's Tomato Ketchup said, Alhamdulillah, I have a new Shahada. Well, I do declare Allah is the God of Islam, and Tate uses women to make profit. And that's good. That's actually good. That works. That works. Nicely done. Well played. Giovanni Garcia said, this MF switched up real quick when he's on the end of the rope. First, he hates people who play victim. Now he's playing the victim. Oppressed. What a dingus. Yep, that's what
I'm
he does.
oppressed. You're oppressed.
Well,
you're oppressing me right now. You're oppressing me, Pierce.
Isn't it very interesting, Pierce, that you're oppressing me right now?
Stop oppressing me.
Yeah. Cause and death said genocide typically involves 1,000 or more killings a day. For example, Rwanda, Cambodia. Does it surprise us that Tate Pimp supports Hamas gang raping? Probably. He probably likes it. He probably likes it. Yeah. James Wilson said, "Don't trust anyone who wears sunglasses indoors." I know that's the red flag immediately that goes up here. Me said, "I don't mean this as an insult, just a genuine curiosity. Do you guys think Tate is on the spectrum? Why do you have a picture of me crying here? Why do you call yourself this? What is going on here? What is this?"
That's an awesome picture.
You should become a channel member. This is good. Hey, Aaron said, I got AI to generate a joke about Tate and trafficking. Not bad. Question: what did Andrew Tate do when he heard sex trafficking was a crime? Answer: he asked, "Oh man, was I trafficking too fast?" Is that from ChatGPT? That sounds terrible.
It is funny that he had to. He just found out like last year that everything he was doing and bragging about doing and making courses on doing was actually a crime, and he didn't know.
Yeah, he was like he was going on live shows and was like, yeah, so I decided to just tell those girls that I love them, that I want to marry them, and then they would come there, and then I would make them work for hours, 12 hours a day, make money endlessly. And meanwhile, I still tell them I'm going to marry them one day. Of course, they believe me because they're stupid. Women are stupid. And then suddenly he's like, wait a minute, they're calling this a crime? Well, why did nobody tell me about this?
Yeah, he gets arrested, and then his lawyer informs him, everything you just spent the last 10 years doing and saying that you're doing and having all over and making courses and a PhD program on doing the entire thing, it's a crime. It's a crime, and they have witnesses. And that's when he came out and he's doing all these interviews. And what do they call it? The friendly boy myth? Oh, the lover boy myth. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that. What is that? This is not what I do. What? All I did was be nice to them.
And the funny thing is, it has been even recognized by the UN as a typical form of human trafficking and criminal act, recognized by over 100 countries around the world since the early 2000s. But of course, this guy doesn't know. He brags about it. And then Candace comes to his support and says,
no, it's Candace.
And she says, they changed the definition of it to include what you are doing as human trafficking, because she's an idiot. Anyway.
You didn't answer my earlier question for a reason, because you knew that you couldn't answer it without proving my point. The question about the fact that if they decided to cruise missile your house because they thought somebody inside was a terrorist, you would not accept the loss of your family that you have raised. You would not accept that.
Of course I wouldn't.
Okay, absolutely. So let me answer this as a professional. What's funny is I'm a humanist. Like I said,
a professional what, by the way?
The professional. Please let me answer.
What a joke, man. Leon the professional.
I'm a professional. Professional what? Pierce, I have a PhD, pimp and hose degree.
Abu Bakr says, say shalom to Farfour. And opinion on Tate becoming a Muslim. Why did he? Because he's, for different reasons, probably to increase his influence, to impress people, to get benefits, to become a believer with benefits. I don't know, different things. Tristan Tate said that he was offered benefits in the Middle East to convert to Islam, but he didn't accept it, which kind of raises the question, so wait a minute, how about your brother?
We should start the phrase "believers with benefits."
I just said it deliberately because.
Yeah. But yeah, with me, it's so on the one hand, you could view it as a complete scam, right? It's just, hey, I want a group of people who are gonna defend me no matter what as I'm going through these trials and so on. I've learned from experience that these guys over here, as long as you toss them a bone every now and then, they'll defend you no matter what you do. It doesn't matter doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter what the charges are against me. They won't care as long as I say something nice about their prophet. So it could just be total grift. But some of the stuff, even before he converted, had the vibe of like why Daniel Hakikachu seems to be so into Islam. It seems like a form of social control. I don't like the way the world's going. Islam is a tool for making the world the way I want it to be. Because if you're Andrew Tate, you want women completely subjugated to you, and you want to be able to beat them into submission and control them completely. And well, Islam can give you a big hand there.
Yeah. Dallas Lam said, "OMG, the professional fell in love with the young Natalie Portman." Don't you find it very disturbing, that movie, because of that aspect?
Yeah, that was pretty creepy. That was pretty creepy in an otherwise pretty awesome movie.
I love that movie. I watched it many times.
Saw it in prison. Everyone loved that. Oh, I remember the whole crowd of inmates bursting into cheers when he blew up the guy at the end. He had all those had all those grenades. The whole prison erupted into cheers. Everyone was watching it.
That's funny. Adolfo Picardo said Tate is going through persecution for not being
hang on. Yeah. Hey, I was thinking, why were they so into that? Really, he's killing cops. He's killing cops that entire time. I was like, that's why. Yeah, they love when that happens in movies.
He's blowing up a whole place full of cops. So yeah, that's funny. Luke said, why do Muslim apologists say the Quran is eternal when they say only certain passages are relevant for a particular time? Well, because it was eternally decreed and published by Eternal Allah Publishing Inc. Before anything existed. Allah sent it like that. He published that. It's the original edition, and that's why they say it's eternal, and why it's eternally applicable, except for some parts of it, and except for those things that were abrogated by removing them, or abrogating by revealing something else within the Quran that replaces what is there, which is very strange. Makes no sense. But Allah knows best.
Yeah, it's very strange. So it's very there wouldn't be anything terribly strange about God giving this revelation for you guys when you're in this situation in Mecca, and then later on there can be something different because you're in now you're the most powerful force in Arabia. But given their view that this is the eternal speech of Allah, it is weird. It is weird to think that in Allah's eternal speech, there are things like the penalty for sexual sin is house arrest. Then you go to a different passage, the penalty for sexual sin is lashes. And then you go to a different verse, and you know that this book is from God because there's no discrepancies. Or not much discrepancy, but you've got all these in the eternal speech. There are contradictory commands.
Yeah. John, what's up? What do you mean? Just said
what?
Wait till you guys hear Al-Dawa's defense of Andrew Tate versus Pierce. I swear these guys think they win by yelling and trying to sound tough. I'm curious now. What I see here, I look for it. The last Al-Dawa video says Andrew Tate should have condemned Hamas. Of course, he doesn't know. He doesn't
Muslim reacts, yeah?
Yeah. Andrew Tate should have condemned Hamas. Muslim reacts, yeah?
Yo, back when I was doing my former job as for the mouse, I realized that I was influencing a generation on what to believe. And now we see Andrew Tate. He believed the whole for the mouse version of events, yeah? And we're proud of that.
Oh, man. Personally, if I was looking for advice, I would, and Al-Dawa was appearing and saying,
hey, how about let me tell you about the meaning of life? Let me tell you about meaning of life, yeah?
I would think, I don't know, like learn English first if you want to be a teacher, if you want to be a guide, a leader. Like you were born here in England, and you can't even speak basic English. I mean, you can't even write basic English. Maybe it's not me who needs the guide. Maybe it's you. But
I have to say, if Ali Dawa ever gives up the Dawa, he could have a career as like a doing cartoon character voiceovers.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. We do know that Farfour was probably him, but he's probably not paid much in Gaza for that. So, in fact, here Farfour Ali Dawa made a super chat saying, "Starting a new site, only Farfour." Only Farfour see me belly dance around my dying grandpa. This is so stupid.
Only Farfour. Hey, by the way, I asked last night, but I didn't get any response from anyone. If anyone knows where to get the original clip of Farfour the mouse talking to his dying human grandpa without the subtitles added, if anyone knows where to get the original clip, because I want to add my own audio and stuff, give me that, because I'm going to make an Ali Dawa what an orgasm intensifier commercial out of that.
Only Farfour. Debadro said, "How can you be both a Muslim and a humanist?" Well, if you just believe, you can be anything. That's what I always learned. So, yeah. That is, yeah.
I believe I can fly.
Luke said, "Why do Muslim apologists say the Quran is eternal?" I already read this. Slapstick Nick said, "Looks like Rob Halford from Judas Priest." I don't know any of those people. I've heard about the music, but yeah. Okay, let's continue.
What are you? What are you speaking? You say you're speaking to professional,
and I'm talking about
Why are you stuttering?
from a humanistic perspective, right? And like I said,
Humanistic perspective.
I'm the professional.
Professional what, by the way?
the professional. Please let me answer. Let me answer.
What are you? What are you speaking? You say you're speaking to professional,
and I'm talking about this from a humanistic perspective, right? And like I said, you've talked to people more knowledgeable than me on the details.
Oh, why you stutter? Why you stutter?
Professional humanist pimp.
Knowledgeable.
Why are you stuttering?
Details of the subject. Right. Listen to me very carefully. I thought we lived in a democratic society. You just said 35,000 Hamas terrorists. And this is the thing that's most upsetting to me. This is what genuinely upsets me. Israel intelligence will say a guy's a Hamas terrorist. Has that guy gone to a court of law? Has there been a democratic process? Has he been proven to be a terrorist? No.
Look at it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you. My goodness.
This is so stupid.
Think about how dumb this is. If someone's a terrorist and he carries out a terrorist attack, even with a GoPro, anything else, and then flees to another country, well, you can't kill him. You can't kill him because he hasn't been caught, captured, tried, convicted by a jury of his peers. Who would his peers be? Anyway, I don't know.
Think about it. A guy comes and goes into a school full of school kids and has massive explosives with him, and he's going to blow up the place. But the authorities, they go there, they don't step in. Because why? They don't do anything. They don't prevent him. They don't shoot him from the distance. Because why? Well, he didn't go to court yet. He wasn't yet convicted. He wasn't yet, it's a democratic country. So you can't just call him a terrorist.
No, I mean, think about it. If you have an army marching out at you, you have an army, because keep in mind, he wasn't even talking about civilians. He's talking about terrorists. If you had an army, a Nazi army marching at you, say, "Oh, well, should I shoot? Should we shoot at this army?" No, they haven't been tried and convicted yet, so we can't do anything. What planet does this guy live on? And that's the problem, right? Because Pierce, with Tate and with Muhammad Hijab, he does ask the relevant question. Hey, if you're saying they're doing it wrong, what should they do? What should they be doing instead of what they're currently doing that would actually deal with the problem? And they give the most insanely idiotic responses that have no bearing on reality in the world, which then you have to ask, okay, if I'm asking you popular guys who are running your mouths about the whole situation, if I ask you what you think should be done and you have no alternative, how are you saying that they're not doing what needs to be done when you can't offer any serious alternative?
It is bad. It is pretty bad. Pretty bad.
decided from their intelligence that couldn't see an invasion coming from hundreds of miles away. So this intelligence.
Actually,
Did you catch that?
No.
Wait, did you catch that?
Yes.
Did you just catch that?
Yes. Yes. What catch what?
He thinks Gaza is hundreds of miles away from Israel.
Wait a minute. Did you just say that?
That sounded like what he said to me. It sounded like he said they're getting intelligence from hundreds of miles away.
No, they've just decided from their intelligence that couldn't see an invasion coming from hundreds of miles away. So this
the invasion coming from hundreds of miles away. He thinks the invasion comes from hundreds of miles away from Israel. Guys, it's on the other side of a fence. There's Israel, and then on the other side of the fence, there are the Palestinian territories.
Dude,
he thinks they're hundreds of miles away, and this invasion is marching across hundreds of miles of territory. How do they not see them coming? How do they not see them coming? When these Hamas is marching hundreds of miles. My goodness,
this is so stupid,
guys. Israel, fence, double fence, other side, Palestinian territories.
Yeah, you could analyze it like let's see here. Let's put it here. Gaza. Here's Gaza. Here's Gaza City. And here is one of the places they attack, Kfar Aza, this community here.
That's obviously hundreds of miles away.
The distance here is about, let's see, 5 miles or less, maybe less than that. That's it. It's on the other side of the fence. That's it. This guy thinks that Hamas actually invaded Israel from hundreds of miles away.
That's what we're saying. Like, why is this guy's perspective at all relevant on this issue?
Yeah, this is about 2, 3. This is less than 5 miles. This guy, oh my God. This is
and
so
keep in mind, that's not 5 miles between Gaza and Israel. That's between these two cities.
Yeah. What an idiot, man.
A democratic process. Has he been proven to be a terrorist? No. They've just decided from their intelligence that couldn't see an invasion coming from hundreds of miles away. So this intelligence is
actually no.
It's not great.
No.
So they've decided this person might be in intelligence without court case, without any kind of democratic process. And because of that, they've decided to annihilate civilians along with him. And it's all just collateral damage and nobody should care. That is not a humanistic perspective. And that is disgusting. And any person in the West who is advocating for that is a hypocrite. And because if it was turned on them, if the American government said, we think the person is...
This guy is just using words. He says humanist.
Yeah.
Humanism is not an acceptable thought in Islamism, which is the thing that he sides with nowadays. Humanism is not acceptable. Humanism is not in alignment with anything he said before about how society should be run. He is for great prohibitions, for big punishments. He thinks it's completely okay to punish, to kill, to beat up people who insult your religious beliefs. He bragged about how Islam is so great because in the West you can insult Jesus and nobody will do anything to you because they're too tolerant. But if you have a shirt on that says Muhammad is gay, you will not make it to the end of the street, and that's what he found great. You can't think that and at the same time claim to be a humanist. That's not how it works. You have to make a decision at some point.
Yeah, none of. There are different kinds of humanism. There was like Renaissance humanism and so on, and then of course there's modern humanism and then secular humanism. As he's using it, it makes no sense for any version of the word humanism. He's not making sense at all. I mean, he may sound like he knows what he's talking about to his fans, but I'm sitting there going, what could he possibly mean by humanism, by he's a humanist, and then saying he's speaking from a humanistic perspective and so on, and then say anything he's saying right now.
Yeah. Great, I said, but AP, he is a professional humanist pimp. Man.
in your shopping mall, one of the people you were shopping alongside in the mall might have committed a crime. We didn't take them to court. We think they might have, so we killed your whole family.
All right.
Get over it.
So the last time...
Nothing like that actually happened. That is a complete distortion and a fantasy perspective of what is actually happening. But yeah, it's, as long as you're loud, as long as you're yelling, it's you're probably right. Yeah.
A clown and a hypocrite.
So the last time...
What do you expect full-grown men to do?
I'm about to respond.
What do you expect full-grown men to do when you kill all of their families and leave them locked in an open-air prison?
Let me respond. The last time that Jewish people faced an existential threat was in World War II. And the Nazis, who wanted to take over the world and kill every Jewish person, the Nazis were ultimately defeated by Winston Churchill leading the Allies. And Winston Churchill, in the process of defeating the Nazis, killed a lot of German innocent civilians in the process. Do you think that was justified?
Let me ask a question.
Was it?
Oh gosh.
Hey, he should have. I don't remember what he says here, but if he could get him to say it's justified, the response should have been, so do you condemn Mohammed Hijab for calling Winston Churchill a war criminal?
I mean, why people like these? I mean, if you can't answer simple questions directly, and you have to come with let me ask you a question, or
do you think that Hitler was wrong in any way? Well, that's an interesting question. Let me talk about 75 different things for the next 10 minutes, and we'll argue back and forth, but I'll never give you an answer. Weird.
Jesse Johnson said Andrew Tate should loosen his leather strap. It sounds like he is full. That's true.
He'll be asleep later, and then it will be loosened for him.
Yeah. The eyes are leather strap. Yeah. Cyclone said Tate even has mouse ears. He does.
That's rude.
Very interesting person. Sanka said, why is he so mad? Did he run out of Viagra or what?
we need to bring up the Viagra a few times, because it's cool. We're developing like these common themes and this sort of language that's part of our discussion group and so on. And yeah, we need Viagra to become just as common as the leather straps of the anus.
Yeah. Kick it towards said, keep it up, my friend. Thank you so much. You know what's very interesting? We had 3,000 viewers when we were talking about Mohammed Hijab and Piers Morgan. Now we have 2,100 when we're talking about Andrew Tate and Piers Morgan. So it looks like
he's not as popular.
Yeah, he's not as popular. He's not as interesting as Mohammed Hijab. Mohammed Hijab should now go around say, I am the most important, most relevant man on the planet.
I'm the most Googled man on the planet. I'm the real top G. I'm the top M. M comes after G.
The question, was it justified?
Sir, I believe, let me just get this right in my head.
Yeah, think about it.
No, I don't think that's right. I believe that the Nazis, which were obviously heinous, I'm not advocating anything they did, it's disgusting, the Nazis. I'm glad we beat them. I'm actually a huge
Were they
fan.
terrorists?
Yeah, they were.
Right. Oh, they are. Wait, what?
Huh, that's interesting. How?
Well,
when you massacre Jewish people, you're terrorists. Except when you do it in Israel.
When you try and conduct genocide on a populace because you don't want them on land,
this is it. Rewind it. You're going to want to play this like 5 times. He gives the definition of what Hamas does by accident and calls it terrorism. And Pierce is like, that's exactly what they do. Watch it.
Andrew Tate said, if you don't support Palestine, you're not human. That's very accurate.
Yeah, he said that earlier. Because I'm a human.
So when you massacre Jewish people, you're terrorists. Except when you do it in Israel.
When you try and conduct genocide on a populace because you don't want them on land you say is yours.
What?
That's exactly what Hamas.
Then he says you're a terrorist.
Okay, let him speak. I have to hear it.
Go back. Play it 10 times.
I didn't hear it. Let him speak. Wait a minute.
A populace because you don't want them on land you say is yours.
You got to rewind it more.
And you are terrorists.
It's exactly what Hamas did on October the 7th.
Exactly what Israel had did before that.
So you.
Wow, you idiot! You dumb idiot! Let's play this again.
Believe that they.
So when you massacre Jewish people, you're terrorists. Except when you do it in Israel.
When you try and conduct genocide on a populace because you don't want them on land you say is yours, then you are terrorists.
It's exactly what Hamas did on October the 7th.
What Israel had did before.
When you want to genocide a group because they're on land that you say is yours, you're a terrorist. Exactly what he just said. That is Hamas would tell you that. Yes, we want to completely exterminate them because they're on land that we say is ours. And by the way, following his definition, all these morons around the entire planet, these college students who are chanting from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. What are they saying? They're saying to wipe out Jews to get this land that belongs to someone else. They're all terrorists, according to Andrew Tate.
They say decolonize. They should go back home where they belong. They shouldn't be there. That is Palestinian land. They shouldn't be on that land. Oh my, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. Why in the world is he invited to talk about this stuff? He has no clue what he's talking about. Man. I mean, go to the Hamas charters. To the original Hamas charter. Look through it. And you will see immediately there, let's see, Zionist. Islamic resistance movement is one of the links in the chain of the struggle against the Zionist invaders. It goes back to 1939, to the emergence of this and this and this. Muslim Brotherhood, lackeys of Zionism. It says the day of judgment will not come about until Muslims fight the Jews, when the Jew will hide behind stones and trees, and we will kill all the Jews, basically what it says. Struggle against Zionism. Zionism is an illegal project through Zionist organizations under various names. Zionist interest, Zionist invasion is a vicious invasion. Zionist invasion here means the Zionist presence in Palestine. That's what it means. It does not refrain from resorting to all methods and so on. Jewish influence, Zionist influence in many countries. Let's see. Let's look for the word Jew. There are some really interesting things to find here. Jews will not be pleased. The Jews. In phase of the Jews' usurpation of Palestine, it is compulsory that the banner of jihad be raised. Jews conquered the holy city. Jews challenge Islam. Warmongering. Okay, I'm looking for a specific party. I can't remember where exactly it is, but their charters, even their final one here, make it very clear that they do not want any presence here. Palestine, which extends from the River Jordan in the east to the Mediterranean in the west, and from Ras al-Nakura in the north to al-Rashra in the south, is an integral territorial unit. It is the land and the home of the Palestinian people. The expulsion and banishment of the Palestinian people from their land and the establishment of the Zionist entity therein do not annul the right of the Palestinian people to their entire land and do not entrench any right therein for the usurping Zionist entity, and so on. Arabs. But we went through some of the speeches earlier in other streams, and also in this one, for example, where they say we will kill all of them, we will not leave one of you alive. So the idea of Hamas is that the Jews are on land where they do not belong, that their entire presence is a crime, that their entire presence goes against Islam, goes against their values, and they have to fight and to remove the Jews from that land until they are completely gone, until all of the land belongs to the Palestinians. That's what they say. This is the argument. Israel does not try to kill those people because they say they are not supposed to live in these lands. They don't belong here. They cannot live here. No, Israel is not doing that. Israel is fighting them.
You have a bunch of them in Israel.
Yes,
20%. You have a bunch of this group in Israel. You do not have a bunch of Jews in the Palestinian territories.
20% of Israel's population is Arab, Muslim. They are not against these people existing. They say we should exist in peace. Speech through speech over the years have repeatedly said that we just want to make peace and we want to acknowledge that we both live in these lands, and that is okay. We should come to a solution here. We should come to a proper conclusion. We should have peace. We should no longer die because of land. The other side says, no, you don't belong here, and we will remove all of you. So, yes, according to Andrew Tate's definition here, it is Hamas that is the terrorist, not Israel. Hamas are terrorists because they want to remove Jews from the land because they think they should not be in their land. That is the pure definition. Let's hear this one more time. He says it very clearly here.
And then when Pierce points out that's exactly what Hamas does, he goes, "Oh, but Israel did it first, and therefore it doesn't count."
Israel did not do it first.
Massacre Jewish people, you're terrorists.
When
you do it in Israel.
When you try and conduct genocide on a populace because you don't want them on land you say is yours, then you are terrorists.
It's exactly what Hamas did on October the 7th.
Exactly what Israel had did before that.
So you've...
So here he actually has to implicitly, he implicitly says that Hamas is a terrorist organization. So he should then admit that he does indeed consider them terrorists. Of course, he then says Israel did it first, which is not true. Never happened. Never happened.
And he realized he'd gotten caught, right? He's trying to describe Israel as terrorists, and he gives a definition. But they're killing the Palestinians because they want them off their land. And this no, that's what Hamas is doing. Well, Israel did it first. So notice, even if you granted that, it would be okay. So Israel did terrorism first, and now Hamas is doing terrorism according to your definition and your beliefs about what happened. And then he won't even grant that.
Yeah. That is so ridiculous. So ridiculous, man. So absolutely ridiculous. I was gonna pull up something very quickly. Continue talking.
Continue talking about what?
Continue talking about
Andrew Tate just declaring that Hamas, and really, again, he's just saying, hey, if you want to genocide someone because they're on land that you think is yours, that's terrorism. But that's beyond Hamas. That's a lot more people in the world than Hamas, because there is a lot of people want to do that. So that's what we've got here. Andrew Tate, the world is filled with anti-Israeli terrorists.
Look at this. This is a document. This is the history of the documentation of the Declaration of Independence of Israel. So the founding of Israel, it goes very, very far back to that. During the founding of Israel, when they were trying to decide on a name for the Jewish nation, for the Jewish country that they had a discussion. The discussion included, so it says, the document mentions three options: Palestine or Philistine, Zion or Sayun, and Israel or Israel. The three officials, who included Bekur, Shalom, Shetrit, and so on, had two assumptions: that an Arab state was about to be established alongside the Jewish one, in keeping with the UN's partition resolution the year before, and that the Jewish state would include a large Arab minority whose feelings needed to be taken into account. So these are the founders, the people who are founding and who are naming the Jewish state. These people are acknowledging that there will be an Arab population alongside the Jewish state, and there will also be an Arab population inside the Jewish state, and they have to take that into consideration when they decide what to name this country. It clearly does not look like it was Israel that wanted to get rid of Arabs because they didn't want them to learn to live in this land. It says they rejected the name Palestine, they wrote, because they thought that would be the name of the new Arab state. It is likely that the Arab state that will be established in the land of Israel will also be called Palestine in the future, which could cause confusion. They rejected the name Zion or Sayun, seemingly because the words Zion and Zionist already had a pejorative meaning in the Arab world. Calling the country Zion would cause real difficulty for the Arab citizen in the Jewish state, the document says. So eventually they went for Israel. So having Arab citizens within your state, within your land, was already an assumption. It was a given. It was completely fine and accepted by the very guys who built this state. And over the decades, over the century, that did not change. Israel, you can accuse them of whatever you want. They never intended or never tried to get rid of the Arab or Palestinian, if you want to call it, population, because they thought this is our land. They are not supposed to live here. Everything was always a reaction. Whereas on the other side, the Arabs very often expressed that the Jews should not be living in this land. They should be gone. That was genocide. That was terrorism. Thanks, Andrew Tate, for destroying Hamas and for destroying the Palestinian movements. Good job.
You can put all that together and say, Andrew Tate destroys Hamas.
We're proud of that.
Literally just describe what Hamas do.
You just described what Israel do. They're trying to genocide the Palestinians as we speak. And this is the exact point.
So, Israel...
No, but to sit here...
Hang on, so you think Israel are terrorists?
I think that what they're doing now is disproportionate and genocidal.
Is it terrorism?
It's genocidal, so I guess that makes it terrorism. It's genocidal.
So they're terrorists for responding to an act of terror, but the people who committed the act of terror are not terrorists.
The way in which they're responding...
You see the problem with that argument?
No.
Really?
Pierce, what they are doing now...
Slaughtering 1,500 people in the way they did it is not an act of terror by terrorists, but a response from the people who are on the receiving end, rather like the response of the Allies in World War II to what the Nazis did. That apparently is the only act of terrorism.
Didn't you say 12,000 people the Israelis have killed thus far?
Yes.
I saw a video of a 15-year-old girl with no legs begging to die.
Yeah.
She was begging to die, saying, I have no future because my parents are gone or my legs are gone.
It's
I have no
horrific.
future. No, but you say that, right? You talk about numbers and statistics, and you say a few people got caught. You don't think of Gazans, and you don't think of as Muslims and Palestinians as individual people.
Oh, yes, I do.
No, you don't. Because
I do.
If you did, you would not be happy with what's happening.
Don't you dare say that.
This is such disgusting demagoguery, which the Palestinian side has been doing forever, which the apologists are doing, which now Andrew Tate is doing as well. So imagine, let's not even imagine. Let's just put it into a proper perspective here. Gaza attacks Israel, right? They attack Israel. The population cheers while Hamas is leading the fight and attacking Israel. They inflict pain on the other side. They are for the war. They say, we want to continue fighting. We support this. According to a recent poll, over 70% of Gazans actually support what Hamas did on October 7, which is brutal. The other side, Israel then responds, and Israel explicitly says, we are now beginning to bomb. We will bomb. They even say, we don't care much about precision at this point. We will bomb. So it will be very intense in the northern part where we will operate. Is evacuate the northern part. Go away. Go south. You, of course, as a Gazan who supports Hamas, you say, nope, I'm not leaving. I'm going to stay right here. I'm going to stay right here. And you keep your children there. You are such an idiot that you keep your children there. You have 5 children, and you think, nope, I am proud. I stand with Hamas. I stand with the cause. And my children here, whom I love very much, they will stay here with me as well. And then a few days later, the bombing happens as announced by Israel, and your children die. And then you take your children who are dead, who look terrible because they were killed in the most horrible ways by you who kept your child there, and you parade them and say, look at this. Look, my child is dead. This is what they're doing to my children. Look what they're doing. This is the enemy. This is the oppressor. This is what they do. My child is dead now. My child has no legs. This is what you are doing. In that case, who is really to blame you? Who is the idiot? Who is the one who sacrifices children? Who is the one who fuels this entire conflict? Who is the one who is for violence? Who is the one who uses human deaths? It's definitely not Israel. It's you. It's you idiots, you monsters, you morons, you terrorists, you savages who cheer for this war and who sacrifice their children in order to use that for political points, for emotions, for demagoguery. This is what they do. It's not Israel's fault that any of this is happening.
It's your fault.
Anyone can say, look, this is very sad. Something terrible happened to me or my kids or my people. If you are the one causing that terrible thing to happen and you're okay with it and you stay in the middle of a war zone with your family, you shouldn't be using that. You should probably use that to reflect and to realize what an idiot and what an imbecile and inhuman organism you are. And you should probably take a lesson from that and should, I don't know, live the rest of your life in shame, or maybe try to change something and make the world a better place. I don't know. I mean, I would never, if I love my own children and I love them, never say, oh no, I am so proud. I stand with this cause and we will defeat them one day. Therefore, I will leave my children, whom I love so much, right here in the middle of the war zone, which they say they will bomb now in a war, because I am proud. You absolute animals.
You just gave me a good idea for a video. I should have done it. It's probably too late now because I don't think I can find any hornets around when it's this cold. But if this whole discussion's still going on next year, I'm gonna find a big hornet's nest, big giant hornet's nest. I'm gonna walk up to it, punch the crap out of it, get stung all over me, and then do the rest of the video. Look what they did to me. Look what the hornets did to me. Look at these stings. Look. Oh my goodness. Look at all these. Look. Like, okay.
You could probably just.
You swung on a hornet's nest.
You could probably go to one of those farms, one of those places that have like a bunch of bees for honey, and then you could just start harassing those bees, then get stung, and make a video of that. Just make sure you don't die as a result.
No, I don't think I will. I've had the crap. Well, no, I've been stung by bees a bunch of times. But yeah, hornets are worse.
That's bad.
One time I walked through a giant, there was this giant pile of like sticks and leaves and stuff like this. And the bees had actually hollowed it out to make this giant, like mother nest. And I like walked right through it and I didn't know where they're coming from. They're just destroying me. And took off running, and they like the bees invaded the entire neighborhood and stuff like that, following me. Bees
don't exist, by the way. They're
it's a lie.
It's a lie. It's a conspiracy. They were created by the Illuminati. Sanke said massive Muslim seething over Garrett winning on Exeter. Hey, that's funny. That's how I called my app on my phone. We respect all religions. Why Dutch persecute Islam? Then I post apostate laws and get muted. Oh yeah, let me check the news quickly, because that is very, very, very significant news here. That is a huge shift in the middle of Europe, in the Netherlands, which has a very large immigrant population, and which matters a lot to the European Union and all that. Let's see.
What?
I can't find a report from a news article, so I go to Wikipedia, where they have so far where they have summarized the results right now.
37
seats, 96% reported or counted. 37 seats, leading Geert Wilders, the Freedom Party, the Party for Freedom. The second place goes to another party with 25 seats. 37, 25. There is a 12-seat difference. Jeez.
Yeah, and guys,
this is insane.
You can have the biggest party, but you have to form alliances with all the other parties so that you can actually. So it looks 76 needed for a majority. So you form alliances with our other parties in order to get stuff done. So it's an interesting follow-up question as to which of these other parties you could form an alliance with.
How many seats do they need? Oh, it's right here. 76 seats needed for a majority. So yeah, this is looking at the red colors, probably liberal or social.
It's crazy. They already have almost half of what they need. So they just have to form a couple of alliances, and then they have a majority government.
Wait, the Conservative Liberal Party is led by a Turkish. That's funny. Person. That's interesting. I don't know much about these political parties in the Netherlands. New Social Contract is a political party. Intent focus on main themes. This is very interesting. Geert Wilders. People were mocking him years ago. And
do you remember that interview where he says, and European culture is superior to retarded Islamic culture. And the interviewer goes, "Did you just call Islamic culture retarded?" But it's funny because like the actual meaning of the word, it's taken on like retarded just means like slow and developing or something like that. So I think he's thinking like the literal definition and not realizing how that comes across to lots of people in the West.
That's
he just called it retarded. sounded like a kid.
This is I don't know. I mean, this is incredible. This is incredible. I don't know what to say at this point right now, but this is huge. This is a huge change in the Netherlands. Wow. The anti-Islam, anti-immigration, right-wing Party for Freedom led by Geert Wilders, who has been like on the front pages of anti-Islam movements in the Netherlands, is now leading. Wow, this is crazy. Anyway, let's see what happens.
Hey, it'd be funny if he came out and after the big victory and goes, "Thanks, Hamas, and all you college students."
Man. My wife said it's huge, just like Geert's head.
He does have a giant head.
He does.
About me.
Well, okay, then don't group them together in numbers.
I've spoken for many years about the plight of the Palestinian people. I think it's outrageous that Israel has any control over their ability to function with water, with fuel, with other energy, and so on, and food. And
that's
so on.
interesting.
It
so
is wrong.
if you were in Gaza as a Gazan male, a masculine
Gazan,
male of masculine, blah 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 blah. The point he's making is pretty ridiculous, right? You can grant everything Tate is saying and say, hey, if I were someone who grew up in Gaza and my family had been killed in a bomb attack, I would probably be pretty hardcore anti-Israel and I would probably want to fight them. You could grant all of that and say, okay, you don't go around tossing babies into ovens and stuff. You don't do it.
Well, why not?
Why not?
Hague for us. Fernando, good evening.
Top G.
What's the latest where you are?
Breaking news, everyone.
So I'm at the VVD, what was supposed to be our election party, but instead they saw 13 years of VVD rule crumble as the PVV doubled its...
The VVD is the leading party in the
These all sound like venereal diseases to me.
Take of seats from 7.
And yes, the STD of the
gone now to 35. Now this has been billed over the past few days as a very close race between 3 or maybe even 4 parties. But these results show that there was no close contest in any way. The party where I am, the VVD, tumbled from 34 down to 23 seats. And the second biggest party is actually the Green Labour Party, led by Frans Timmermans. He came in with 26 seats. But what this all gives us is a bit of a mess, because forming a coalition, which is what these parties will invariably have to do.
This is so weird, because they have to form a coalition to create a government. This could lead to a huge to a halt of politics, of trying to form a government, which will not be formed because the sides can't agree with each other. But you have now the far right party with the conservative and the labor leftist ones at the top. They trying to get together and try to form a government. This is a disaster. It's very funny.
Fighting age, and you believed the things you currently believe. What would you do about it? I'm just asking.
You know what? Nothing justifies the terrorism.
I never said you'd be a terrorist. I'm asking what you do.
No. I understand why people in Palestine feel oppressed. I understand why they want freedom. I understand why they want the same rights as the people in Israel.
Then here's a perfect...
On that we agree.
Absolutely, we agree.
But nothing justifies what happened on October 7th.
Well, here's where we disagree, because as a professional, when we both agree on the point that people...
As a professional,
he keeps saying
as a professional. Yeah, we need to start doing that stuff as a professional. As a professional, I'm a professional. But I mean, think about this. Like, here's what you would say. like serious answer to what he's saying. Okay, so you're in an area, you've been bombed, your family has been bombed, you're growing up, you're now a man. What do you do? Right? And the answer is, if you just go with your emotions and a quest for revenge, you go and launch an attack, some sort of attack on Israel, in which case they're going to retaliate and kill more families, going with your reasoning. And therefore, what you should do is say, okay, we need to just understand they are massively more powerful than us, and they don't put up with a lot of crap from us when we start killing them. And therefore, we need to stop, with the goal of reaching some better solution in the future where we're our own state and we don't get bombed. So in other words, if we want the bombing to stop, we need to stop messing with these guys and trying to slaughter their people.
Yeah.
Side of Gaza are being oppressed and that their life is being detrimented and that they have no way of getting out.
Hey, I don't care anymore. I think we've seen enough, right?
It doesn't really go anywhere. I mean, you got the gist. There were a couple, there were a couple important parts, like when Andrew Tate defined terrorism, and it's exactly what Hamas is, and he won't call them terrorists. There were a couple of important points, but yeah, basically this is what the whole discussion is.
Wait, do you mean aside from what we have seen so far? Is there
No, I'm saying it's all the same. That's all right. I'm saying there have been a couple of important points, but basically the entire gist is blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, let me see. What is this? Let me see what this is.
Sit down and say the fighting must end. Why can't we do that? Why can't we sit and say nobody should be dying? Let's stop using.
Hey,
are you retarded? I'm
great, Andrew. Did you just call Andrew Tate retarded?
Yes.
Candace, who's far more
Candace. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Look at what he says. Look at his face. First, look at his face. Then look at what he says about Candace here.
And I don't like people who are not advocates for peace. Blessed are the peacemakers, said Candace, who's far more intelligent.
He just attributed, blessed are the peacemakers from the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew 5. He just attributed that to Candace Owens.
Andrew Tate, have you ever heard of Jesus Christ?
He just attributed the Beatitudes in the Sermon on the Mount to Candace because he heard her say it once, not realizing she's quoting Jesus there.
Wow, this is so stupid. This is so embarrassing. I mean, I know this.
And Candace said one of the most profound things that I've ever heard. She pointed out, she said, blessed are the peacemakers. Now think, what a great woman she must be to come up with that profound insight on her own.
How does he not know who said
what
that?
A dope.
How does he not know this is from oh my god, this is so stupid. Wow. This is amazing. Like imagine he's being tested for his knowledge, and he's like, who famously said blessed are the peacemakers? And he's like, I know, Candace Owens.
Candace Owens.
Oh, this is so embarrassing. Of course, the people who are now fans of him don't understand this, because they are either Muslims, Islamists, or they are just narcissistic idiots like him who have no idea of anything at all. But to the average person, this should be very, I don't know, you should get some secondhand embarrassment here.
And it's just like my brother Tristan said that one time. He said, we have nothing to fear but fear itself. That was so profound. And I thought, wow, that's so insightful. Now I know that you are indeed my brother.
Awesome. I don't even, wow, this is unbelievable. He actually just attributed a quote from Jesus himself to Candace. Who does this?
Tate, that's who.
And he's calling for someone else's son to go and die in a ditch somewhere for his interests. And I don't like people who are not advocates for peace. Blessed are the peacemakers, said Candace, who's far more intelligent than Ben will ever be. And she is completely right. He replied that rhetoric, starting an argument with me, when I said we should talk about peace. I say we should talk about peace. He calls for the death of civilians.
Why didn't Pierce say, it's actually Jesus who said that?
But... who knows what Pierce knows? Although I'd be surprised if Pierce didn't actually know that. He might just not care. Candace.
Deanna said Saint Candace.
and somehow we're asking why my point of view is seen as abstract. It's insane. Why can't we all just sit down and say the fighting must end?
Andrew Tate, you have no clue what the hell you were talking
No,
about.
this is insanely idiotic. Why don't we just say that all the fighting there should stop? Great. Israel would love that, Andrew Tate. Israel would love that. The entire world would love that. There are groups involved who will not allow that under any circumstances.
Guess who said 20 years ago the fighting must end? It was Israel. Guess who said,
How about no?
Hamas.
Jordan Peterson. No, that was Jordan Peterson. I just heard.
We are in this situation solely because Hamas says we do not accept the situation as it is. We do not accept the current way that things are. We don't accept the status quo. We have to fight. We will fight until you are done, until you are gone. That's why there's currently fighting going on. If you are saying the fighting must end, if that is your concern, if your concern is fighting must stop, then you should be opposing Hamas right now, because they are the ones who are fighting. But yeah, of course, it's like it's they have a reason. They have a reason. There's a reason behind what they're doing, which is why you can't blame them. He probably doesn't even know that it's Hamas that is doing the fighting. That it's because of Hamas, because he's an idiot. Man, this is ridiculous. Let me hear this.
He calls for the death of civilians, and somehow we're asking why my point of view is seen as abstract. It's insane. Why can't we all just sit?
Why can't we all just get along?
Why can't we all just make peace?
I don't like people who are not advocates for peace. Blessed are the peacemakers, said Candace, who's far more intelligent than Ben will ever be.
Oh my God. And to argue that, to also claim, by the way, I mean,
that's just hilarious
to say here, but to also claim that Candace is far
way smarter than Ben Shapiro. Yeah, that's insane.
Like Ben Shapiro or hate him, love him or hate him.
As a smart dude.
He is incredibly intelligent compared to Candace Owens, who is a complete idiot. I'm sorry. She is an idiot. She is not intelligent.
Are you saying that because she's black or because she's a woman? Which one?
Pick one. I don't know. Man. But yeah, I mean, it's a professional humanist pimp speaking. So
it's a the professional humanist pimp quoting super smart. And I know how smart she is because she came up with the profound saying, "Blessed are the peacemakers."
Arguing with me when I said we should talk about peace. I say we should talk about peace. He calls for the death of civilians, and somehow we're asking why my point of view is seen as abstract.
Oh yeah, Ben Shapiro doesn't call for peace. No, he says we need more fighting. We need more war. You dumb idiot.
Oh my God. It's insane. Why can't we all just sit down and say the fighting must end? Why can't we do that?
Yeah, why can't we? Why can't we?
We should be dying. Yeah. Let's stop using the most advanced military weaponry on the planet to blow the limbs off children. Why can't we say that without being deemed some kind of terrorist sympathizer or anti-Semite? It's insanity. Trump came along and didn't start a single war. He's the only one who didn't. And they're going to come along him and make him a bad guy. When a new president comes in, it's just endless war and death and killing. Have you seen a dead body, Piers? Have you seen people lose a fucking limb? It's disgusting. I know what's happening over there.
Have you seen that?
I don't need to tell you about the parts of my history that I'm not prepared to share, Piers.
Did he? I don't know.
I said it to Ben. I said people who have done their own fighting and seen their own violence and have seen people bleed out in the street from a stab wound are not going to be so smart and so quick to sit behind the desk and call for the death of innocent people. It's disgusting what's happening. I don't want anyone to die on either side. And when I come along as a peacemaker and say this is insane, because he's a warmonger, because he has chosen.
At this point, Piers Morgan is just so tired of this, it looks like, and he doesn't even want to react.
This is so insanely idiotic.
This is like A completely retarded person probably watches Andrew Tate here and thinks, "Wow, yeah, top G, so smart, such a genius, wow!"
Yeah.
And he himself probably thinks, "Yes, I'm showing it to them." And then all the other people who are actually informed and just a little bit intelligent just watch this and think, "What the hell is wrong?"
This entire rant that he's going on right now ranks right up there in terms of how helpful it would actually be to the actual situation. This ranks right up there with get a pen pal. That's it. What? Why can't we all just get a pen pal? Huh? Why can't Hamas get a Jewish pen pal? Why can't an Israeli get a Hamas pen pal? And then everything would be solved. That's exactly what.
Why do you not want pen pals? What's your problem with pen pals?
Why can't we get Candace Owens in there to just say, "Hey, blessed are the peacemakers, get a pen pal"?
Candace Owens is the most intelligent person I've ever met. She said, "Blessed are the peacemakers."
Wants to lie and say that the Jews are genocidaires. And don't try to cancel.
That's a sound, but I don't know.
Side. And when I come along as a peacemaker and say this is insane, because he's a warmonger, because he has chosen blinkers, and sees one side of the argument and refuses to accept the humanity of Palestinians, he says I'm a bad person for calling for peace.
Well, you know why? Because he'll probably listen to this interview and say, this guy can't even describe Hamas as terrorists.
If Ben Shapiro thinks that,
oh boys,
and it was just the whole situation was ridiculous. You just had the terrorist attack, and then you had people like Andrew Tate. Oh nope, just ceasefire. Like, wait, what? The attack just happened. You've got to deal with Israel has to deal with Hamas. You can argue about how they go about it and so on, but just let's just have peace now that they just slaughtered a bunch of you.
I actually want to quickly go to Ben Shapiro here and briefly watch the exchange between Ben Shapiro and Piers Morgan about Andrew Tate. So there we have some conversation about Andrew Tate between Piers Morgan and Ben Shapiro about Andrew Tate. Let's see.
I'm not going to be lectured on more.
Okay.
Wait,
that's the good part, but we have to see what. Well, no, not a Tate. Here, Tate.
Amateur hour.
Amateur hour. Spat. Okay, here. Let's see this part.
Twitter spat with Andrew Tate yesterday. He's a converted Muslim. He'd been doing a lot of supportive tweets for the Palestinians. And he tweeted at you at one stage, "Mr. Tough Guy, let me assure you, as someone who's done his own fighting, as opposed to excitedly encouraging others to do it for him while sitting at home on a comfy chair, peace is always worth a conversation." What was that spat about? Why did you engage with him? What do you feel about that?
Well, what I feel about that is that he was tweeting that immediately, like as terrorists were still running around in southern Israel. That was on October 10th. And he was still tweeting while the bodies were fresh and warm in the streets. Peace is, you cannot make peace with people who murder your children and burn their bodies. You can't do that. I mean, this rush to Israel, the murder happens and you immediately say, okay, well, guys, now truce, now ceasefire. That is not, no state worth its salt, no government on earth would allow this kind of insanity. No government on earth. And no government on earth would listen to nonsense about how you immediately have to seek peace with a group that seeks your direct extermination. Again, I can't emphasize enough. Israel turned over the Gaza Strip to Gazans in 2005. Hamas has governed the area since 2006. The year is currently 2023. Israel has endured round after round of rocket fire on its major cities for literally almost 20 years. And now the idea is the minute that Gazan terrorists rush through the border and murder people in their beds, that's the time for a peace conversation? That's the time for a peace conversation? By the way, and I'm not going to be lectured on morality and toughness by Andrew Tate, whose great idea of toughness and morality is pimping women and then bragging about it on air and trying to quasi-walk it back while simultaneously maintaining many of the same positions and flexing his biceps.
Notice this whole, so Andrew Tate was not criticized for calling for peace. He was criticized for doing it in the immediate aftermath or while it was still going on. But notice this would be... this idea, I wonder if he's consistent. Like if I saw Andrew Tate and I walked up and I just I sucker punched the crap out of him back, and then he eventually picks himself up off the ground and then looks at me, and I go, "Hey, peace, man. Peace.
Ceasefire, ceasefire,
ceasefire. We're good. Come on, don't promote violence, man. Think about canned ace. Think about canned ace.
Why can't we just stop fighting? Why can't we just stop the fighting?
Lesson of the peacemakers, man. Make some peace."
That's what Candace said famously.
And if you don't,
okay, I'm
think
done.
what
This is
happens
so stupid.
Yeah,
okay.
that's dumb.
I'm done. This is the dumbest thing I've seen in my entire life. I've not seen many dumb things in my life aside from this. This is the dumbest thing ever. Stupid. Apostate said, "Happy Thanksgiving, David. How do we all celebrate? Turkey, stuffing, gravy, cranberry sauce, mashed potatoes. What's for dessert? Do you watch football? Do you do other activities?" David, go. One word.
No, you have to go down the list. Turkey, yes. Stuffing, yes. Gravy, yes. Cranberry sauce, no. Never liked it. Mashed potatoes, yes. What's for dessert? Pie, obviously. Probably go with apple this year. Do you watch football? Yeah, I watch football. Probably have the football. Probably have the games on. They always put these games on Thursday, on Thanksgiving, and they're all NFC games, so I'm never terribly interested in them. But what else are you going to watch? That's going to be on while we're eating. But yeah, that's it.
I agree.
You don't even know what Thanksgiving is, man.
That's just when you say thank you to somebody. That's Thanksgiving, right? Sake said, "Random aggressiveness, constant BSing, playing victim, child sex slaves, allegedly cultist followers, supernatural eloquence. Is reincarnation real?" It is. It is possibly. This is the proof. Muhammad is Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is Muhammad.
If you spell Andrew Tate backwards, what does it spell? Muhammad.
Prophet Muhammad, actually, to be accurate, but yeah. Giovanni Zanini said, "AP, if you convert, I promise you'll be my #1 ex-Muslim, ex-atheist Christian."
Ooh, that's quite, because that's following up where people are saying that you'd rather be everyone's favorite atheist than like their number 12 favorite Christian. And you have someone saying, no, you'd be their favorite ex-Muslim, ex-atheist Christian. So you sweeten in the pot there.
That's very nice and very good. Cedric said, "Only peace."
Only peace. And that's why I want everyone to come to my new site, Only Peace. Where my cam girls are going to be explaining why everyone should get a pen pal.
Giovanni Zanini said, "AP, if you convert, I promise you'll be my #1. Oh, because it was so nice. Gingham Most Prime said, "Funny, his go-to Muslim country to travel to."
Oh, hang on. It's Ginger. It's Ginger Must Prime.
Oh, yeah, Ginger Must Prime. Is UAE one of the few Arab countries on Israel's side? Oh, yeah, this is funny. This is funny, right? His favorite country, his favorite Muslim country, United Arab Emirates, is the one that is like rapidly normalizing relations with Israel. And also saying, yeah, we don't want to take any drastic actions against Israel. We want to be cool with Israel. So that's very funny. Very funny indeed.
Andrew Tate destroys
UAE. Yep. TG said 200,000 dead Chechens, 250,000 Yemenis, 350,000 Syrians, zero marches. A few dead Palestinians, and the critters come out en masse because Jews are involved. You know what's funny? Actually, if you want to look at the numbers, in 60 years, the casualty, since 1965 till the 2020s, the amount of deaths of casualties in the entire Israel-Palestine conflict was only around 20,000 or something like that. So, but you just can't stop hearing about Israel-Palestine. So in only 10 years in Syria, significantly more people died than in the Israel-Palestine conflict in 60 years. But nobody cares about Syria. Everyone still talks about Israel-Palestine because it's the Jews. The Jews. Giovanni Garcia said, "No, don't be ridiculous, AP. A little genocide never hurt anybody." Farfura said, "I thought Tate everything he knows, and we're proud of that."
We're proud of that.
I taught they're not taught. The Arsenal diplomat said, "Do you guys think the lower standards for Palestinians is racist? Israel is held to incredibly high standards of scrutiny, but when it comes to Palestinians, people act like they have no agency." Well, Jews are very successful people, which is why you can't just let them get away with little things. Whereas the Palestinian side are very underachieving people, as it seems, in the world who come from lesser standards, not quite as successful, not quite as good, which is why, of course, you can allow them like terrorism, mass rape, and stuff like that every now and then.
Yeah, they call this the soft bigotry of low expectations. It's where, but you can reverse that and say there's the bigotry of high expectations, where in a weird way you're actually portraying, I'm not talking about us, I'm talking about the critics, they portray Israel as morally superior people because they hold them to a higher moral standard than they hold Palestinians or
ironic.
Or really anyone else. I mean, think when we talk about all the people who die around the world, and then the moment Jews are involved in anything, you get an uproar around the world. It's like the entire world is holding Israel to a standard that they don't apply to anyone else on the planet. And so what are you actually saying? You're saying that they are the most significant people in the world somehow, the most developed people in the world, and therefore you're holding them to a standard that you would literally apply to no one else.
It is real. It is real. Yeah. The bigotry is real. The struggle is real. Just like Israel. Isn't that funny? Israel means struggle with God, but then you can say Israel. The struggle is real. It's like the struggle. Anyway,
deep thoughts. These deep thoughts you're sharing right now rank right up there with Candace Owens. Blessed are the peacemaker.
Jeff Dervla said, "Shouldn't Pierce be a Muslim by now? He's been around and the top G's of Islam all month." Yeah. He probably
been hanging out with a lot.
Yes.
I mean, and keep in mind, it's not that he's hanging out with a couple of random Muslims. He's got top G and Muhammad Hijab, the greatest Muslims of our generation. If you toss Ali Dawa in there on a show, man, that guy's going to be so Muslim.
Yep. That one gamer said, "Thoughts on Generation Z support leading toward Hamas? I am Gen Z and I'm very concerned about this." Well, young people tend to be stupid, so
yeah, I agree with that. Wasn't that Douglas Murray's response? What about all the college? His response, what are you talking about? They're idiots.
Most of them don't know what's going on. Most of them don't know what they're talking about. Most of them think, "Oh my God, guys, like, how can you not see what's happening in Gaza right now, where they literally invaded and literally are, bombing people's homes for no reason?" It's like, I mean, are you even human? Literally, that's the amount of knowledge that is there. So what can you expect? Michelle Moffat said, "I find it hard to pray for Hamas and terrorists. Is that awful as Christian? I need more love. I tell you, how Jesus died for us blows my mind."
You can pray for them. It's pretty straightforward. You pray that they change their mind, turns themselves in, or that they get crushed, because that's what's best for them, and that's what's best for the world. It's keep in mind, it's not good for a terrorist to be able to continue terrorizing people for the rest of his life and then face the Almighty. So look, I pray that they repent or that they get crushed.
So you are for oppression now. You want to oppress people.
Oppression.
You want to stop them from
oppress the terrorists.
You want to stop terrorism because you're a bigot.
You're a bigot.
Ayatollah Khamenei said, "I just graduated from Master's University and I'm now making 3-5 muta contracts a day."
We should make some war room parody where it's all training girls how to get them to do muta marriage with you.
Contracts a day and getting jizya from all the brokies, also free Palestine.
Hey, imagine Tristan Tate. Imagine Tristan Tate converting to Islam too. And then I try to do mutta with at least 2 to 3 virgins per year. Now that I've converted, I can't just have sex with the virgins. I have to get them to sign a temporary marriage contract lasting a few hours to take their virginity. So
wild stuff. Sake said, in reality, the term "I" is a Jewish social construct which aims to hide Muhammad's wisdom about the leather strap of the anus.
That's a response to Hijab's tweet.
Yeah, I see that. Very nice, very nice, very well done. Stefan Bonas said, I think it's time for Piers Morgan to meet Muhammad in his boom boom room. That would be funny.
Muhammad, do you condemn the Hamas attacks on Jews? What?
Jews? Joshua Wooden said, do you see Tristan on Piers Morgan today? I didn't.
No,
I don't know who's
I saw the thumbnail, but I didn't click on it.
I have to be very honest. Between watching Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate, I think Tristan Tate is significantly more difficult for me to watch. At least, like, Andrew Tate is so...
He's more entertaining.
He's stupid, and he entertains you with his stupidity and his dumb responses and all of that. Where Tristan Tate is just like, well, look, I am a fantastic man, and because I'm a fantastic man, I do this and this and that, and I'm not going to talk about this and this and that right now. And my brother is even more fantastic than me, although I'm the most fantastic man. And my brother is my brother, and my brother is my brother. And I just can't take that, man. Just shut up. Yeah. Did you see it, David?
No. I mean, I saw that it exists, but I did not click on it.
It doesn't.
And I can't imagine a scenario, unless there was something awesome in there and enough people say, no, you have to watch this. Yeah, I can't imagine a scenario where I'm going to check out the boring Tate brother.
Eli Gatter said, when Tate was Christian, he said he came to God because he realized that there was objective evil. Funny how he doesn't believe that since reverting. Well.
He has said they're evil. He keeps giving the worst argument we've ever seen in our lives based on evil.
He said there's good and evil in the world. That's why.
Yeah, he said there's evil in the world, and therefore there must be the equal and opposite force. So according to Tate, he realized that if you take all the evil in the world, there has to be the precise opposite of that amount of good. And he says that's God.
That sounds like he's arguing for Zoroastrianism or Gnosticism or something. Strange.
There you go.
Crossy Saying TV said, hi, AP David Wood. I recently found your videos after a recently live event turned me from atheist to some sort of theist. Thank you for saving me from Islam. Keep up the amazing work.
This is what we do.
Appreciate it. Appreciate
it. What we do.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. You're supposed to say that's what we do again. It was going like...
No, I'm just saying that's what we do. We tell people stay away from Islam, and they listen.
Thank you. Stay away from Islam, man. As I said, I adore watching you pay a love from a Jew. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. How do you feel, by the way, in Britain as a Jew by now? Let me know. I hear and see lots of people say this is getting really, really dark and weird, but let me know. Delicious said, and that guy has 8 million followers. I'm too old. Really, I'm too old. Yeah. I guess we're talking about Andrew Tate, right?
Yeah. I'm not. What 8 million followers on what? Is that on Twitter or what? Probably.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe he's talking about you. I don't know. Jessica Bizet said, I started watching this live as an atheist, and now I'm a strong believer in the leather strap. Oh, boy.
It's what we do.
It's what we do. I appreciate it. David Kazashi said, you guys think Tate's leather straps are a little loose now because the sunglasses can reduce the light going into his eye? Probably. That sounds about right. That's probably how it works. Yeah. That's probably how it works. Michael Beacon said, Andrew Tate is another in a long line of Islamist garglers, making up for it with chest-puffing machismo or machismo. It is. It is like, I don't know, Islam is a religion of narcissism. The representatives are, the apologists are narcissistic. The people who, the most famous guy to recently join is completely narcissistic. All they can They have to use these platforms all the time to talk about how great they are and how fantastic they are and how strong they are and how everyone else is weak and all of that. It's just a giant religion of narcissism. That's what now.
Yeah, that's this weird thing. Like Muhammad Hijab posting a message to Ben Shapiro's wife. Ben Shapiro's not a man. I'm a real man. And then Andrew Tate having to constantly talk about what a man he is, and he's the manliest of all men, and so on. It's just it comes across the exact opposite to me. Like if you're a real manly man, you don't need to be bragging about it. It's going to be pretty obvious to people. It was actually like that in prison. The guys who came in like running their mouths, "Oh, I'm a bad dude. Don't mess with me. I'm a bad dude." They usually got punched in the face because people could tell they're fake. The quiet dudes, those are the ones you got to worry about.
Yeah. Got to be scared of the quiet ones.
Hey, little side note there. There was this one time guy came in, didn't mess with anybody for like weeks, and then one person eventually did something. I don't even know what it was, but we went down the hallway, and there was a line of people who'd been knocked out all over the floor, and this guy's standing at the end of the hall going, "I didn't mess with anybody. I didn't mess with anybody. You guys mess with me first." And I was like, "Oh, you guys messed with the wrong one there." There was a lot, like all over the floor. Boom, dude knocked out, dude knocked out, dude knocked out, dude knocked out, dude knocked out.
That's funny, man. Sounds like a cool place to go.
Oh yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah,
it was more.
Cedric gifted memberships. Hey, very nice, very nice, very nice. AS Vuxi said the pimping host degree didn't cover geopolitics. Good one. Ayatollah Khamenei said the face when you've been popping Viagra for 4 weeks straight and the just for men goatee dye has started leaking into your bloodstream. Man, why are you mocking this guy? This here. Yeah, he really looks weird here. Interestingly so. Your favorite sociologist said possible solution: if an Israeli Jew with a printing press prints copies of the Quran, would Muslims be forced into not trusting it? This is a good question. This is a good thought experiment. We will never know, but we will probably find out. Andy Thompson said, "From the river to the sea, pay your jizya and I will leave you be." Shimon Bar Kokhba said, "Could you review a Mir Khan speech and give your opinion on him and his ideas, like with Mohammed Hijab?" I do not really. I don't know. I haven't really. He is the one who was behind the Khanist movement, which eventually led to a terrorist organization which was banned in Israel.
Rabbi Mir Kahane.
Not entirely sure if I want to do that, but possible. Yeah. Possible. Giovanni Garcia said AP gives huge moral speech about the crimes of war. AP gives huge moral speech about the crimes of war. David, you just gave me a video idea.
Yeah, punch a hornet's nest. That'd be pretty entertaining, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But it would make a point.
That's how it always goes. I say something and David is like, "Oh, hey, that gives me an idea for a video."
I get like 90 ideas for videos per day, and I make like way less than that.
That's good. Corners Bottle said, "Quick thoughts on the Ben versus Candace beef."
Oh, yeah, I hadn't. That might be. We might actually want to cover that at some point if it keeps going on. Like, just go through the tweets back and forth and any comments they made.
Corners Bottle said, "Thoughts on Nicholas Fantastical." Are you just? Yeah.
Seems like a loser.
Cedric said, "Farfour's Avalanche of Apostasy Relief Fund." That's good. We should start that. They don't stop because Iman said it's a job.
Oh, the joke. That's the it's a job. That was Brother Rashid contacting an imam asking if he would help us expose the Quran. Yeah, it's a job. And it turns out he's an atheist who's also an imam.
Oh, yeah.
Why are you an imam if you're actually an atheist? It's a job. That's what he said.
Craig Smith said it was like listening to Hitler rant.
What?
Actually,
AP screaming earlier?
Yes, probably. No, it's probably Andrew Tate ranting here, but I don't know. Like I listened to a lot of Hitler speeches throughout my life, and they're actually very impressive compared to this. Like it's Hitler was genuinely a horrible person, but he was a great speaker who actually seemed to deliver some intricate ideas, whereas Andrew Tate is a horrible person who just shouts a bunch of garbage. So, yeah. Gorda is bolder said, "Hey AP, do you have any wolf DNA?" I do actually. I do some. Yeah, like 12% or something like that. Yeah.
I got Velociraptor DNA.
Yeah, I'm liking this. Colvera said, "You have the pupils of a locust and furry feet."
What?
I have no idea. Sir Mevin said, "Lost all the small bits of respect I had for this prick. He claims to be an original thinker, but he obviously is bought and paid for by Hamas. Love you, Dave and AP. Happy Thanksgiving." I thought you were calling me a prick and saying I'm paid by Israel. That would be completely accurate. But
lost all the respect I had for this AP prick. But AP claims to be an original thinker, but he is obviously bought and paid for by Mossad. We've been bragging that for the entire time, guys.
Yeah. But yeah, in the case of Andrew Tate, it's also probably true. Yeah. Guest said Hitler would.
Well, I have to say, I mean, it is an ongoing theory, and there are reasons to think that Andrew Tate is actually not paid by Hamas, but paid by some other people who might not want him criticizing Hamas.
Who also pay Hamas. Giovanni Garcia said the rational people, Hamas are terrorists. The world? That's just like your opinion, man. Yeah,
that's from the Big Lebowski too.
Yeah. It's so funny. Really, seriously, it's like Hamas openly and proudly goes around saying, "We will kill the Jews. We will remove them. We will not stop until they are all gone. We will remove them entirely. This is our land," and all that. And people are like, "Yeah, no. It's just they're just a freedom movement, freedom fighters,
freedom fighters."
Oppression.
And Israel's like, "Hey, we have to take out these guys who say they want to genocide us and have just had some success in killing a bunch of people. We have to take them out. Oh my goodness, you're the worst people in the universe.
Oh, this is genocide. Literally genocide.
It's literal. Killing terrorists is literally genocide."
Yeah, they're all terrorists. Why do you kill them because they're terrorists? That means it's genocide. You don't want terrorists to exist.
Killing terrorists and trying to get your hostages back is literally Hitler.
It's anti-terrorist.
You literally grow a little mustache and start speaking German.
Yes.
The crafter said, "Love you, super genius and super apostate prophet." Thank you very much. Strap on pleasure machine said, "Andrew Tate did muta in prison." Probably.
Who knows what he did, man?
Well, we know one thing he did. He called his guys from prison and instructed them to tell the girls to lie and to make excuses for him and stuff like that. He's so stupid.
Yeah, that's
that he would actually call from a prison, from a jail, and say, "Hey, guys, you have to lie, make up a few things, and also fly me out. Say I'm sick."
That was the super dumb follow-up to him running his mouth about all his crime for all these years, and then he calls from prison. And I mean, I don't know if it's the same in Romania, but when you call, they say this call will be monitored and recorded.
And he's like, "I don't even know what that means. Anyway, guys, you have to lie. You have to get me out of here.
I don't know what recorded means, but let me explain how we're going to cover up what I did now."
Are you? They actually published the transcripts of the calls, and they caught the transcripts of the calls, and they actually have recordings of him telling people outside to lie to get him out of trouble. You are calling from jail, you idiot! This is Wow. And yeah, this is the genius. This is the top G.
Yep. he's a brilliant tactician.
Dr. Whitemeat just became a YouTube member. Oh, thank you, Dr. Whitemeat. Thank you. Thank you. That's very nice. Very nice. Welcome to the club, Dr. Whitemeat. I will ask you more about evolution later. Joshua Fambulle said, AP's Jordan Peterson impression and David Wood's Andrew Tate impression are what I'm thankful for this year. Also, may God bless you both and your families. Happy Thanksgiving, gentlemen. Oh, you're welcome. And thank you so much.
We should write a little script and then act it out. Andrew Tate meets Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, how about no? Carlo Magno said, David and AP, what's the zero? How do you think about superhuman erection promised by Momo? There is, if you are talking, are you talking about the one that is when you go to paradise, you will have a constant erection? That is, I think, a weak.
That's Sunan Ibn Majah. Yeah, I think that's weak. Although you do have similar things in the commentaries. I believe Sunan Ibn Majah. I will find it for you in 5, 4, 3. Let's see. Sunan Ibn Majah 43:37. There is no one whom Allah will admit to paradise, but Allah will marry him to 72 wives, 2 from Hordes, and 70 from his inheritance from the people of hell, all of whom will have desirable front passages, that's vajayjays, and he will have a male member that never becomes flaccid, i.e. soft and limp.
This is so ridiculous. But yeah, this hadith is considered weak in transmission. That's how they rule da'if, which means weak. So it's not entirely reliable as a source of information. But yeah, so this is what it says. Did you know that the word flaccid is actually more accurately pronounced as flaccid? Now you know. Sabi said, here's my jizya to the atheist. Great job. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We will collect this and make sure that you will be spared as somebody who has, nicely paid the jizya and who can now live by just paying us protection money. Thank you. Thank you. Giovanni Garcia said, I'm so happy David got the reference before you even finished at LMAO. I know I'm bad with getting references for some of the movies and stuff like that. But yeah. I'm glad to have David here. That's why I have him here. Otherwise, like, why would I have 2 live streams with David? Yeah. Yes. What?
I was wondering if the hadith anywhere else. So I typed in flaccid to see if you have the same hadith elsewhere. But then the only other hadith that came up was Sunan an-Nasai. This is Sahih. It was narrated that Aisha said, they say that the Prophet made a will for Ali, but he called for a basin in which to urinate. Then he went flaccid suddenly and died. So how could he leave a will? Good to know.
That's
Muhammad went flaccid after calling for a basin in which to urinate.
That's funny.
Yep.
I don't know what to think about that, but yeah.
Don't know. Just glad all this was preserved for posterity's sake.
Yeah. Imam Sofat and Sheikh bin Mas.
Hey, he stole my name. Sheikh bin my slut. Sheikh bin my slut.
Murray said something to Piers about marches noticing the kinds of people next to them. Wouldn't you leave by week 3? I think that stuck with him. That's why he's platforming people like Tate.
Wait, Murray said something to Pierce about marchers noticing the kinds of people next to them. Yeah. There
was this whole thing. Like, if you notice that you are walking with people who say, death to all black people, wouldn't you, at least by week 3, think I probably shouldn't go there. Yeah. I think that stuck with him. That's why he's platforming people like Andrew Tate. Yeah. I don't even know what to think about him doing this whole thing again. I mean, it's just for views, I guess. Piers Morgan is doing his business, and he knows that interviewing Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate will get lots of views, and it's working. It's
totally working.
It's totally working. It's a good business.
It's working really, really well for him.
It's working really, really good. Although Oh, okay. It has 5.8 million views to part 1 of Andrew Tate's.
That's the first part. I didn't see that.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. Powerful stuff. I look, how many has it helped me step for I am yeah. Thank you. Very, very much. Shooter Down Under said, "What's something that Tate and Hijab don't have that Mossad and the CIA does? Intelligence." To be honest, I can say that while I do think that Andrew Tate is not very intelligent, I must say that I think Hijab is intelligent. He is just confused and very dishonest.
I'd say they're both smart in certain ways and really stupid in other ways.
You're just being Islamophobic. Yeah. Islamophobic, typical. Jeremy Poyer said, did you see the news about 200 people in Gaza that saw Jesus in a dream and at the same time a few nights ago? Source from Mike Lacona. Thoughts? I haven't seen anything.
Someone was sharing with me something from Mike Lacona. It was about that. I didn't catch the details, but yeah, I'll check that out. That's interesting. I have to check the source. Got to check the source.
Gotta check the sources.
Gotta check the Norses.
Zippy Murphy said, Andrew, I got a Bugatti. P.S. Let's fisticuffs your spineless. Jeremy Hijab, Andrew, how dare you humiliate him? I'll get the lube and vibrator into you. I really want to watch that video.
Israel was
not this one. I really want to watch quickly the scene because I think it was so amazing. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Wait, this is not the right part. This is
attacked vibrated by, and to be asking them is justice possible, and that's the question that we're going to be asking, because he can sit there and talk about all these things where the IDF, his son Mendy, is being attacked by vibrated by the rockets, and he's selling him and his daughter selling vibrators to the public.
Unnecessary thing at the end again.
I hope you keep that in.
Rabbi Shuri, 1 minute on it.
What in the world, man?
Why stuttering?
Then there's the other part, shaking. This is just such good entertainment. I don't know. I really want to thank Mohammed Hijab here for this.
He has provided us years of entertainment.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You wore the Israeli colors today. Can we shake hands?
No, this is not about that. This is about
see now they're friends.
It's about different shaking. Oh, here.
Back to the issue.
Let me ask a question.
Why are you shaking? I've got a vibrator in your pocket.
Come on, this is serious.
I think he's got one of his daughter's vibrators.
Come on, leave it, please.
You are just humiliating
yourself. We're going to cut back to the issue. We'll cut all this stuff out. So there's no point.
Why? Leave it. People should see what he represents.
There's no point abusing each other personally.
Okay, Pierce.
I want to stick to the debate.
Let's get to the debate.
You don't want
more slippery. He's being more slippery than the lubricants he sells in his daughter's sex shop. And that's the reality of the situation.
Did you really just say that? You seem obsessed with Jewish sex. It's bizarre. Yesterday, you actually spoke about Ben Shapiro's wife.
Yes,
you
I did.
actually you said
Yes,
to
I
Ben
did.
Shapiro,
Yes, I
your
did.
wife's
Yes, I did.
you're more of a man.
I'm a real man.
Then you said that Jews have BDSM. You're speaking about sexual lubricants while people are dying. You know, Muhammad, get your head out of the Jewish bedroom. It's really bizarre.
Can we get it?
Let me be clear.
No.
Sexual lubricants? How embarrassing.
You sell dildos, don't you?
Can we get it back? Can we get it back to the topic?
You speak about 5-year-old girls being ready.
This is golden, man. Golden.
Powerful Dawa. Welcome to Dawa. Imagine we had a time machine. We could go back like 10 years and then say, hey, we got a clip of what Dawa is like in 2023.
It's golden. Storm D said, Muslims use the humanistic card when they are losing. When they succeed in war, rape, torture, murder, they revert to the Quran and Hadith. I wouldn't say that's what Muslims do. I would say that's what people do who happen to. Anyway, Zippy Murphy says, I spoke about the part where Sam said the Quran without the Hadith was better than the Bible. That's why
that is the part we need to check out of that longer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the part we need to check out.
Maybe we could do that on your channel. That would be interesting.
It's possible.
Possible. Or we could do the Maja.
Possible.
Be interesting.
We'll check it out. we also need to cover Hijab's explanation of his views on child marriage. So we've got a couple topics coming up.
Why you keep talking about hijab? Headscarves. Farfour said use code Farfour to get 20% off your next order. Yeah. Okay, you read this, David.
Read what?
You can read this whole super chat here.
Farfour to get 20% off your next Viagra order. Yeah, I'm proud of that.
Sankey said, fun fact, Gert is part Indo, so he would technically be the first Hapa prime minister, proving diversity is our strength and increasing diversity. He is of mixed Indonesian and something background.
That is the whitest person I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, and he has a huge head. Goofus said, thank you for all you guys do to educate people on this dreadful subject. You are so important. You are so amazing. You are fantastic. You are the best ever. Some who are coming to power definitely learn from you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I added a lot of praise there, which was actually not in this super chat, but but thank you. I appreciate that. The Noon said, it's mostly David. I don't do anything. I'm just sitting here. Yeah. The Noon said, when are you guys going to cover Uthman bin Fibn's latest scandal of him sleeping with another Muslim wife?
Yeah, it's kind of rough because I generally don't care what these dudes are doing. I mean, I think they're all creepy perverts behind the scenes, at least in general. Who knows what they're doing? Who knows what they're doing with kids and so on? But yeah, you had a Muslim friend of Sheikh Uthman recently come out and post a couple of TikTok videos saying that he asked Sheikh Uthman for some marital counseling because they were having a rough patch. And then Sheikh Uthman took his wife and slept with her before the guy was even divorced. And now she's Sheikh Uthman's new wife. And so it's a weird situation. I don't care too much, although we might want to discuss it just because once Sheikh Uthman finally responds, we know he's going to lie. The guy is a compulsive liar. We kind of probably need to say it and explain how he's going to lie to get around this before he inevitably lies to get around this. This is the guy I've never seen. I mean, every single thing. When he tweeted that one time that yes, non-Muslims have to be subjugated and enslaved, and then later it gets brought up to him and he admits that he sent it, that was his tweet, and then more people use it to criticize him, and then he comes out and says, no, that was an intern who did that. Yeah, I got rid of that intern who said that. You got him faking a hate crime against himself with obvious fake blood, and now this. How's he going to get around this lie? Of course he is. But yeah, we could do a. We wouldn't need to do a long live stream. We might want to do a short live stream where we just go through the clips and make our predictions on how Sheikh Uthman is going to respond. And we can make a further prediction that his fans will not, under any circumstances, be upset with him about it.
Alhamdulillah. That's beautiful. That's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. As a professional, women are dumb. Farfour's favorite disciple, Andrew Tate.
As a professional, women are stupid.
Women are dumb.
As a professional.
Yeah. As a professional humanist, the Book of Canned Ace was taken out of the Bible by the Council of Nicaea.
No, the Council of Nicaea was also taken out. That was
the
a
Council
separate
of Nicaea
book.
was a book that was in the Bible.
Yeah, get your stuff right.
And
Get
it
your
was
stuff right,
taken-
Farfour.
It was actually the Book of Council of Nicaea was taken out by Canned Ace. And you can also find an explanation of that in Mat 39. Yeah.
Hey, look at this. Get your facts right, Farfour.
Oh, but I can't get my facts right because the Jews they bombed my house, so we can't study like that. Yeah.
Hey, my wife, Mrs. Apostate said, "Real eyes, Israel lies, free paleontologist." Thank you. We often joked over the years about that stupid thing, realize, and how we read that quite often, like several decades ago, and how it's like the corniest thing to say. So this is kind of an interesting super chat from my wife. Shooter Down Under said, with the way Andrew Tate talks, he sounds like a queer for Palestine. Well, he is queer for Palestine, but I'm not sure if he sounds like a queer for Palestine. So
he kind of does when he talks like this. Oh, check out my sunglasses.
With the way Andrew Tate talks, I already read this. I just read this, David. Cliff Wilson said, Douglas Murray is right about Palestine. There is no reason Gaza can be another Singapore, aside from their shenanigans. It is true. It is true. It is right. That is accurate. Joshua Fambula said, AP's Jordan Peterson impression. Oh, I already read this earlier, but thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate that very much.
I don't buy your Ella.
Jack Ray said, 18 plus 18.64 shekels, then 30% YouTube cut. I know. YouTube is stealing our shekels. There's nothing we can do, but we just do that.
YouTube is expecting all these YouTube is actually being funded by Mossad right now.
Yes. YouTube is funded by Mossad. Stop using it, Islamists.
Because they're taking a cut from our Mossad shekels.
Yes. Amir made a super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Mimi Hijab's discount dildos said, leave Tate alone, prostate prophet.
How does Hijab seriously do this stuff where he says it's impressive to his dumb followers for the moment, but then it gets used against him for the rest of his life,
and
to show how ridiculous he is.
He loves it. I mean, just look at this. He actually published short videos, and he actually published short videos to spread them, including about that, like this one here. Yeah. Oh wait.
He's being more slippery than the lubricants that he sells in his daughter's sex shop. And that's the reality of the situation.
He actually published this as a short video.
Slippery schmooly. That's what it said.
Yeah. He actually published these things because he thinks that was fantastic. These are great moments.
Powerful stuff.
This contributes very, very much to the Israel-Palestine conflict and the whole discussion about the Israel-Hamas war.
Let me get the answer.
The unholy schmoly won't let me speak.
Right, I'm asking you a question.
My answer is
the first one.
It's like the rest of the stuff is like, dude, shut up. But at least that was actually funny.
It's funny how Rabbi Shmuel said at least that was actually funny. Yeah. This is ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
Powerful Dawah.
Ridiculous.
Makes me want to convert.
Me too. Alhamdulillah.
Ethnicity for
So yeah, Giovanni Garcia said to David, you should make a skit where Mo comes out to pray and all his followers and fellow prayers are looking at him oddly because his robes are covered in wet spots. Yeah, man. What's funny is in my
you could actually continue it because his followers basically find out what the wet spots are. Because guys, this is all in the hadith, seriously. And then he would go out to pray, and Aisha's scrubbing the semen off his clothes because he's going out to the mosque. You could have like his followers figure out what these wet spots are, and like he shows up and he's going to hug them, and they're like, "Oh, hey!" They're kind of backing up or coming up with excuses for why they don't want to hug him.
You know what's funny? So the Prophet Tales, which I published a while ago, which Saitin made the graphics for me. Oh, he added an interesting detail here to the clothes of Muhammad. He's got the semen stains, and I only noticed that like reviewing it several times. I was like, wait a minute. He didn't even tell me about it. He just did it, and I noticed it later on, and I started laughing about it. That was very good, very, very good, very good stuff. Powerful stuff. Powerful. Amir said, "Here's your daily shekels. Thank you so much. I appreciate it." Dexter Martin said, "You're surprised Wilders won Dutch election." I am surprised. I'm very surprised. I'm going to see what happens. See what happens now. See what they do now. I'm really wondering where this will go. Like Geert Wilders, with his party and people like him, they were very, very clearly and strictly against open immigration policies, against appeasing Islam and Muslims and so on. And I'm really wondering what they can and what they will actually do now. I don't know. Probably lots of deportations or something. Slapstick Nick said, imagine if Hijab and Al-Dawa were secretly your biggest fans. They are, actually. Yeah.
We were talking about that recently, like when people suspect that some of these guys, Hakikatu, are actually like plants and so on, like being planted in Islam and so on. And, you know, I don't think they are. What's interesting is if I were to come up with a plant to destroy Islam from within, it would be exactly like these guys. Like if I were to list all the criteria of like the perfect person to go in there and just destroy Islam from within, it's Muhammad Hijab, Ali Dawa, Daniel Hakikatu, and Sheikh Uthman. That's like absolute perfect.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I think Daniel Hakikatu is a fantastic guy. So yeah, that's it. Perfect representative of Islam. Amir said, remember when Sheikh Ketchup pretended he didn't know you, David? Did he do when you went there? Isn't that how he acted? Or what was that? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I don't remember if he pretended not to know me.
How dare you not remember something about someone as special as Sheikh Uthman? Colvera said Sunan ibn Majah 4099 from a previous video. What is that? What is that? Oh, this one. The hour will not begin until you fight people with small eyes and wide faces, as if their eyes are the pupils of locusts. Oh, that's what you were talking about. Okay. Pupils of locusts.
Oh, because you're Turkish.
Their faces are hammered shields. They will be wearing shoes of hair, using leather shields, and tying their horses to date palm trees. What a description.
Turks, that's you.
So, and people thought that means Turks. So, I don't even believe that Muhammad said any of these things. This sounds like a very big reach here. Was probably created later on to...
Yeah, that's an obviously fabricated hadith based on something that happened after the time of Muhammad.
Yeah, that's what they did. They like something happens in their current time, and then they're like, "Oh, did the Prophet say anything about this?" Like, yeah, he did. He actually said something like this and this and this, and it's just clearly made up. Yeah, he's talking about the Turks. Though the white meat said Tate has 99 problems, but lying ain't one.
Nope, he's got that one down.
Jean-Michel B said, Allah Akbar. That's good. Please, let's keep it respectful and serious. No Islamophobia in the chat. Joanna Garcia said, wow, hey, I can't hug you, Prophet, because I'm not worthy. Yeah, I am unfit for your touch.
Yeah, I'll use that one. That's a good one. They can all his followers could be coming up with different reasons for why they won't hug him.
Yeah. I'm going to read 3 more super chats and then I will leave. They're coming in. I can't read anymore after that. I really have to go. It's 3 hours. Although I appreciate every single one of them. MP said, great win for anti-Islam party PVV. How do you say that in Dutch? Is it Partij van de Vrijheid or something like that? Whatever. In the Dutch elections, Geert Wilders, friend of Ayaan Hirsi Ali. Any reactions?
Yeah, we've already talked about that like 9 times.
9 million times. Curious to see what will happen. I don't know. I am very much cautious with these political extremes. I'm very much center. And despite the fact that I agree and I like a lot of the stuff that Geert Wilders has said over the many years, I'm always a little bit cautious about radical steps toward the left or radical steps toward the right. It might not always go very well. So my reaction about this whole thing is very much reserved right now. I just want to see how it goes, and I hope that everything goes very well in the Netherlands and in Europe. That's all I want to utter. What do you say, David?
Yeah, I don't know. We gotta see, because
he doesn't know.
People are voting for this party because they're sick of what some of the other guys have been doing, what some of their other leaders have been doing. But the question still remains: what are you actually going to do, and what are you actually going to get done? And that's what we're about to see.
Yeah. At least we can see him happy here. Let's see.
Look at the size of that head, man.
I can't even believe it.
His neck doesn't look big enough to hold up his head.
Yeah. Remember, guys, all ham to Allah. I mean, I thought the guy hated pork, but all right. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It is very strange. This is a very interesting observation, Giovanni. Gordon's Bulldozer said the wolf DNA thing is also because you're Turkish. I know that's what you mean. There is a Turkish, an old Turkish myth of believing that the Turks were a tribe that were like going extinct, and they were being persecuted, and then they were saved by a wolf that led them. And some parts of that mythology goes to such extremes where they say that the wolf not only fed the last dying Turkic people, but that they also actually interbred with wolves and something like that. It's really bizarre and really weird. It's just one of those mythologies where, of course, they have to think about wolves and how they were raised by wolves.
And then you
Very
guys,
original.
and then you guys fall for Islam. Shocker.
Yeah. Well. MP said, sorry, I just got up. Well, that's good. At least you're up. All right. With that said, anything else you want to add, David?
Nope.
All right. Make Peace said true story. Yeah, it might be a true story too. I mean, it might be that the early Turkic guys, in their despair, had sex with a wolf, and then from that, lots of stuff emerged. I don't know. It explains a lot, actually. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a fantastic day. Don't be too slippery, as Muhammad Hijab would say. And as always,
stay away from Islam.
Alhamdulillah.